All right. So another week and we're back, guys. Another I would say newsworthy week. Some stuff is a little bit ridiculous, some stuff is just the daily news. We will be talking about the Diddy case as far as updates to the trial. And on a lighter note, we will be talking about Miss Sydney Sweeney of Euphoria fame has just joined the ranks of that one gamer girl. I can't remember her name. It's already escaped me. Maybe one of you guys in the chat will know her name. Actually, you know what? Let's just look it up. Bathwater. What was the name of that gamer girl that sold her bathwater? I can't remember her name. Remember she had pink hair? Bathwater. I think all you have to do right is bathwater. Belle Delphine. Who couldn't forget? Let's see if we can get her on screen. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with who this person is. Let's go ahead and go to it. So this girl right here, Miss Belle Delphine, I believe she did this back in 2019. She had grown a huge number of simps online and people that watched her, not for her gameplay, but I guess she had the bright idea of bottling her bathwater and selling it, which, it sold out pretty much overnight. And it was kind of a sad thing. I don't even, let's see. She had a global following of 4.2 million on Instagram, and she was selling $30 bottles of bathwater for all you thirsty gamer boys. And yeah, I mean, it pretty much sold out overnight. And yeah, not a proud moment in gamer history. But now Sydney Sweeney has now joined the ranks of this, and let's go ahead and go right to it. Let's go to the commercial that she put out for Dr. Squatch. Let me see if I can find it. I know I had it here. Well, she already had a partnership with Dr. Squatch, but now she's doing her own thing. Let's see. I think it was called Bathwater. I think it was Bathwater Bliss or something. Bathwater. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. I got to see that ad. I know it was a short, actually. I know a lot of people are talking about this now, so let me see if I can find the actual one. I'm supposed to have this queued up, but you know how it is, guys. Okay, that's a first look. This it here? No. Where's the actual commercial? She did like a... No. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. Let's,
She teamed up with Dr. Squatch.
No, this isn't it. You know what? I bet it would be under Dr. Squatch. Let's do it. Bathwater. Okay, here it is. Found it.
Hello, you dirty little boys.
You guys were asking for a bathwater, so we created her soap. Giving away 100 of these bricks. And, I'm pretty sure that this is the extent of it. They just took some water, whether she bathed in it or not. She probably just stuck her finger in it and just poured it over this thing of soap and called it a day. They wrapped it with her little logo image on it, and they're going to be pricing these things at about $8 a pop. So for anybody that wants to make because I think there's only like 5,000 of these things being made. It's crazy that I know all the information about it, but yeah, so people are going to probably be buying this stuff and, taking it off the market so they can price gouge it for $200 a pop. And then, serious money will be made. The scent is morning wood, of course. Head to our Instagram to enter the giveaway. Yeah. You want to shower with Sydney.
Hello, you.
Which, let me ask you guys a question. What is the whole draw to Miss Sydney Sweeney? I don't watch the show Euphoria, so I'm not really in tune with the hype of this woman. She looks like every other Caucasian woman. Not really. I don't know. I mean, what's her standout feature? What's the thing that everybody's going crazy about her for? I don't get it. Let's see. Sydney Sweeney. Let's see. Like I'm not really. How attractive is Sydney Sweeney? Well, okay, Sydney Sweeney's hot. Okay. Let's see what Entertainment Tonight said about her.
Sydney Sweeney selling her bathwater?
Craziest experience ever.
Yeah, the star is teaming up with a soap brand to infuse what they're calling a touch of Sydney's bathtub drippings into bars of soap fans can buy.
And she has fans. Like I'm trying to understand. Like, what are the? I mean, this is simp soap, practically.
It's definitely fun. I enjoy.
It's kind of giving her Euphoria co-star Jacob Elordi in Saltburn. Which, to be fair, did inspire a candle.
It smells good, actually. It smells, I guess I'm into it.
I think it smells like vanilla. Vanilla.
Does it smell like Jacob?
I don't know.
Does it smell like his bathwater?
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's my friend. I can't. It's too weird.
Now, Sydney's only making 5,000 of the specialty bars, and it's unclear if it's actually her legit used water in them or just the idea of that. But either way, fans will have to fight to get their hands on the soap when it goes on sale next week.
I can already imagine like simps in the chat like thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get like a bar to use and then a bar to like keep forever. And they're gonna come home one day and both of the soaps are gonna be in their tub and they'll be like, what the hell happened? And the roommate's not gonna know. He's like, look, dude, I ran out of soap, so I just grabbed this one. And there's just gonna be a fight. Somebody's probably gonna die. And yeah, I mean, it's just gonna lead to a lot of incel rage, man.
Excited for everyone to see it.
This is really what we've come to now, guys. It's not about us evolving as a species. Now we have celebrities that are just jumping on this bandwagon. They're like, look, there's a huge group of men out there that are just having trouble finding girlfriends. Let's make some soap for them. Let's just focus in on them because yeah, we can make some money. And I do believe, yeah, it was priced about $8. I guess wherever you can find it, whether it's like CVS or Walmart or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be in Walmart, but you know, if you buy this stuff online, yeah, people are going to price gouge it. You know, it's going to be a crazy like exchange of soaps for people. Yeah, people are just going to be passing the stuff back and forth, and it's going to create a frenzy. You know, it's just wild to me that this is really what it's come to, and yeah, I wonder if there's going to be more, you know, if there's going to be more of this bathwater craze from other celebrities, you know, because they're like, look, if you just do the math, priced at $8 a pop, she said 5,000 bars are going to be made. That's about 40 grand. Okay. Minus licensing and, you know, whatever cut that she's going to get. Maybe they paid her a flat rate. It just seems like it's such a little amount to be made unless she does charge it for more. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up because I would like to make sure. How much is the Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap? Let's check it. I just want to make sure it was still $8. I checked it before and it said $8. Okay. Yeah, see, it says here, let me just zoom in for you guys so you guys can see that. It says it's gonna reportedly cost about $8. So thanks, I'll take 100. A user, High Yield Harry commented, this is edible, right? Oh, Jesus, it's already starting. Nah, I love your ass, but not your ass water. Yeah, I mean, people are already making memes over this, and yeah, the memes are pretty funny. I think, let's see, I don't know where I saw I think if I just get rid of the how much and then just type in memes. I saw one. Know your meme. No. Where is it? Oh, yeah, right here. So it has that chick that I was talking about earlier. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. All right. Yeah, so it's that chick, Belle Delphine. She's like, I paved the road, you just walk down it. And I mean, a lot of this stuff is coming out very quick. Let me see. There's more. There's got to be more. Where was? Oh, this one. This is the funny one, the Dave Ramsey one. So you have $36K in credit card debt and another $200K in unpaid student loans. Yes, Dave. And you just spent $690 on a soap called Sydney Sweeney bathwater. That's correct, Dave. Oh man, it's just like people are going to be making poor decisions here, and whether this thing is a success or not, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of simps out there that are going to finance this thing. And yeah, she's going to make a quick, easy paycheck, and men are just the incels are going to be taking another L. So yes, so let's go. That's all I pretty wanted to say. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I just thought it was kind of wild. You guys, I would love to just say, like, let's vote with our wallets and let's not buy it. But I think it's already a done deal. So, excuse me. Moving on. Let's go to the next story. It's probably gonna be a quick episode tonight, unless anybody wants to jump in and give me any suggestions of stuff to talk about. It's been pretty straightforward for the most part. So these are the stories that I saved for the P. Diddy stuff. There is one that I did want to start with first. Where is it? Excuse me. Yeah, so Kid Cudi, he testified, and that whole rumor about Diddy blowing up his car with a Molotov cocktail, he took the stand and basically said that was true. So that's been confirmed now. Let's go to that video. I think this is the one. Yeah.
The former Diddy assistants who say they were threatened, abused, underpaid, and even one who claims she was sexually assaulted, are they going to be the downfall of the rap mogul? Their testimony is explosive and so important to this sex trafficking and racket.
Oh, hold on. David, what's up, buddy? Hey, Camp, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream, sir. Yeah, man, we're just getting into this Diddy trial, man. I think this is going to be the third week, and it's actually been projected that they could probably finish this up within the fifth week. They were originally projecting it to go on for as long as 10 weeks, but as far as the defense and what basically the government has come forward with, they pretty much think this is a done deal. So very, very interesting in the way that this thing has been developing. A lot of the things that have been levied against Diddy, they've kind of just, folded on, and they're like, okay, yes, he did abuse him. Okay, yes, he does do drugs. Okay, yes, he did do these crazy sex parties. Okay, yes, he did hire a lot of escorts and possibly flew them out. And then now everybody's coming forward and saying that, oh yeah, he was also making it to where these people couldn't leave. He was docking people's pay and making it to the point where they couldn't find jobs, so they actually had to go back. That was one of the lady. I think her lady's name was she was going under a pseudonym of Mia, and she was also another one that testified. She was another one that was close to Diddy and Cassie, and yeah, she had a lot to say as far as her testimony. But yeah, we're gonna go right into it. But yeah, David, I'm glad to see you in the stream, dude. Welcome.
Case, we are going to go through what they had to say and how it fits into the overall charges. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime.
1 second. Is that audio good? Sounds a little low to me. Let's see where we're at. 300. Okay. It sounded a little low to me, but I guess I'm going deaf. I don't know.
I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, we're back. Another day in Sean Combs' criminal sex trafficking, racketeering, prostitution trial. We have another recap of today's testimony. This is the continued testimony of alleged victim Mia, testifying under a pseudonym.
David says, what do you think about the Tate brothers being charged with crimes in the UK? Can you talk about this? Absolutely. I did look into that, and it seems like if they are able to beat any of the charges in the UK, and I believe the US will be the next up to basically do their charges if they decide to leave. But yeah, I do believe they are going to go and face all the charges. I believe Andrew Tate is very confident that he will beat the charges. But yeah, we can definitely cover that. That was definitely something I was looking into, because after the whole thing in Romania and how all of the charges got dropped, a lot of tater tots, they rejoiced and thought that he was completely innocent. But then it was basically just one pillar down and another pillar coming up to get him. So we'll definitely cover it after this. And I just realized my coffee is not here. I'm gonna grab my coffee real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna pull a Hassan Piker and leave my chair. So hold on.
There is a lot to break down with respect to her direct testimony, her cross-examination by the defense. Remember yesterday, she testified that she was verbally, physically, sexually assaulted by Sean Combs, goes to potentially forced labor as the underlying crime of racketeering. Remember, prosecutors have to prove at least 2 underlying crimes of racketeering. Forced labor is one of them. I also think her testimony goes to this pattern of criminal activity for racketeering. And her testimony, of course, helps corroborate Cassie Ventura's claims of physical abuse by Sean Combs, Cassie being victim number 1 in this case. So what did she say today? Well, I'll tell you what, before we even get to Mia's testimony, one other thing you might have been seeing in the news, got to address. So it came out today that President Donald Trump, who seems to have been friends with Sean Combs through the years, they've been photographed together, he had a statement today. It seems he was asked, would he ever be open to pardoning Sean Combs if he's ultimately convicted of these federal crimes? What did he say? Well, he said, I know people are thinking about it. I know that they're thinking about it. I think people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing, so it's not a popularity contest, so I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think
A lot of people were asking this about Donald Trump, whether he was going to pardon him or not, because he pardoned Lil Wayne. He pardoned, there was another one. God, I can't think of his name. I know his face. Oh, what was his name? Oh, he's got the hair. What is that guy's name? He's a rapper. I can't think of his name besides Lil Wayne. Damn it. Oh, that's gonna bug me. I can't go forward. Hold on. Rapper. Pardon. As soon as I type this in, I'm gonna know it. Trump. Okay. Well, here's all these pardons so far. Todd, NBA YoungBoy, not that one. Jay Johnston, Lil Wayne, Kodak Black. That was the other rapper. Okay, so that was it. Kodak Black. That was the one I was thinking about. But yeah, I mean, if he was to pardon the Diddy, P Diddy, that would be wild. You know, I mean, after all of these allegations, he's facing life in prison. And if Trump were to just kind of just overrule all of that, I don't know, man. I don't know if people would be supporting him for that. So I don't know.
think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me. Now, not to get too political, but as we know, the president has been making a lot of pardons recently, although this one feels very different. Although he was a little ambiguous in what he would do, this one, out of all the pardons he's been issuing recently, this one feels kind of different. These are violent allegations. These are sexual abuse allegations. There is an argument that whether or not Sean Combs is even guilty of these federal crimes, there's a lot that's been documented about domestic violence in videos and photographs and testimony. So it might just be too ugly for him to pardon Combs. And what the justification would be if he's ultimately convicted of this, sure, can side with the defense's argument that this wasn't a fair trial, that these allegations don't amount to federal crimes. But is the Diddy case one of those issues that's bipartisan? What benefit would he have to ultimately pardon Sean Combs if he's convicted of these crimes? I'm not going to get into that right now, but just something to keep note of, that there is a possibility if Sean Combs is convicted of sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution, his sentence, his conviction, there could be a pardon here.
And if he pardoned him, I mean, Trump would be like, look, it's my last term. I'm not going to get reelected. I might as well do it. You know, do some crazy shit. Davos, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. What's up, Camp? Some crazy stuff happened this week. Absolutely, man. We're going to try to see if we can go through it. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a light stream, but David did bring up the Andrew Tate stuff, which I did look into, so I can definitely address that. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I can't think of anything right now off the top of my head, but I did save some stuff off of YouTube and also Reddit. And if there's anything you guys can think about, I know there was one. I think there was a hater that called in, or no, yeah, I think it was a hater that called in to Fresh and Fit, and I think I wanted to at least address that. I thought that was kind of funny. The IRL stream with Myron yesterday, I did catch pieces of that. I think it was a bunch of Jewish people, or was it Jewish people or Palestinians that like gathered at his little rally and stuff, and yeah, they were like shouting back and forth. I believe there was like a laser pointer that somebody did at his head or whatever, and then like I guess somebody thought that Myron was gonna get sniped out, which, you know, he's taking a chance going out, you know, and doing these little public IRL streams, man. I mean, he's feeling a little too safe. But yeah, I saw it was I think it was like 15 people, 15. You know what? I can't remember it. I remember I saw the thumbnail and the video for it, and I was like, oh, it looks like one guy was getting up in his face and he was pretty much crashing out. And, you know, Myron being Myron, he was just like, look, man, if you can't take the heat, you know, like he wasn't really like bothered by it. But yeah, it could have escalated. It definitely could have. But yeah, we can definitely check out that one. That was definitely something that I saw.
We shall see. All right, now let's get into Mia's testimony. Let's talk about what happened today. So for that, I want to bring in Long Crimes reporter Elizabeth Milner, who's been our eyes and our ears. She has been in that courtroom every day of this testimony, including today. Elizabeth, it's great to see you. Before we even talk about Mia, there was something interesting that happened at the beginning of the day, and not a lot of people reporting on it. Real quick, back and forth before the jury came in, there was a discussion between the attorneys and the judge over charts. And when I was listening to this or reading about it, I want to hear what you have to say about it, what happened. I think this goes to the transportation to engage in prostitution charges, which we don't talk about a lot, right? The idea that Combs allegedly transported victims and sex workers for the intent of prostitution, for sex work, right? What was...
Yeah, he was transporting them to his place under a false name. I believe Cassie as well would have a false name. So when I can't remember the name of the male prostitute, or the male, I guess, I don't know, what would you call him, male escort that he hired. The dude basically showed up, and I believe Diddy was like sitting off in a corner with like a hoodie on or something and some glasses, just being, you know, a mysterious guy. And yeah, he thought it was going to be like a party or something like that. It ended up just being like a hotel room with like Cassie and Diddy. And yeah, it was I think it was $1,200 that the dude made. And I think he made like another like 6,000 because he did a lot of repeat services for them.
The discussion about charts.
Well, it was pretty interesting, at least to me, Jesse, because I think when a lot of people hear, oh, summary charts and graphics and that type of sort, that maybe it doesn't stand out to them. Maybe it's not as interesting. But to me, what the prosecution was pretty much saying was very interesting. And so the defense originally was kind of complaining, in a sense, just about the government's summary charts, that they don't like this particular category in these charts. And that is in reference to the escort category. They specifically said one particular name today in the outside of the presence of the jury, and that was an escort named Jules. And we know Jules very well. He was the escort inside that hotel room at the Intercontinental Hotel incident in 2016, but also he was an escort that Cassie and Diddy used often during freak-offs, according to Cassie's testimony. And so the defense was...
I believe his stage name was called the Punisher. So he was an escort called the Punisher. I don't know if they mentioned that here, but I remember I saw that in a lot of my cross-reference that I was gathering for this live stream. But yeah. And I think it was the same guy that Diddy told for the male escort to, what's the word? I don't even know how to say this without it being graphic. I guess just finish himself on, I guess, on Cassie, and then Cassie, I guess, would rub that whatever was finished on her all over Diddy's chest. Very, very strange, and very, very nasty.
Essentially saying that they don't like the escort category when kind of comparing their flights and the hotel booking. And this seems like a summary chart from the government that they want to introduce as some kind of demonstrative or some piece of evidence in order to kind of make this pretty clear to the jury. And so what the defense was essentially arguing was that they don't connect that the escort necessarily went to the hotel just because that they had a flight on that exact same day. The defense pretty much said that they were simply travel records, whereas the government says, sure, we can take out the escort category, that's fine, we'll still keep the names, but the summary witness will pretty much, when they are called to the witness stand, will pretty much say that these charts are going to kind of compare the hotel date to the flight that was booked. So for example, if Cassie or Diddy had reached out to a certain person to just be like, hey, do you want to come over to LA or Miami or Vegas or New York, and then you see an escort booking a flight for that exact same day, I think the government kind of makes a strong argument that these kind of help go to count 3 and 5, and that being transportation to engage in prostitution.
Hey, so look, I know you guys are all true crime fans out there, but anybody?
Yeah, so that would basically lead towards the sex trafficking allegation. So let's see if I can skip past this. I think they might be doing an ad right now. Yeah, he's doing an ad. So let's get back into it.
Alleged victim number 4, Mia, Combs' former employee, again, testifying under the pseudonym Mia. So she gets back up there, and she is continuing being questioned by the prosecution. She is their witness. This is before Brian Steele, Sean Combs' defense attorney, began the cross-examination of her. So she's testifying under direct. And my understanding is it was a lot of discussion about alleged threats that were made by Sean Combs, right?
And what I was talking about earlier was like Sean Combs basically threatening her with not paying her. And basically, if she wants to leave, then yeah, he basically will make it to where she won't be able to work. Because I think she was trying to like break out into making music videos, being in the business, and he was going to make it very difficult for her to get any type of job and stuff because he was so connected.
Yeah, there were. So when Mia comes to the stand today, it was kind of the same as yesterday, where she kept her head down. She kind of had her bangs in front of her face, and she just kind of walked to the witness stand because the witnesses go to the stand before the jury is brought in for the beginning of the day. So she comes back in. Her support system is kind of behind her, as well as what we presume to be her attorneys, too, because they're normally in the suits. But she walks straight to the witness stand, takes a seat, but kind of has that same effect that she had yesterday, where she was keeping her head down from what I could see, even while on the the witness stand. But I will say, Jesse, even when she was testifying today, I felt like her tone was a little different. Now, yesterday was a very heavy day. They discussed a lot during her direct testimony, at least for day one, and they really discussed a lot of heavy topics, specifically the sexual abuse allegations. She was very emotional on the stand. But I will say this about her today. She kind of spoke a little bit more with an upbeat, if I could say that word, to kind of describe her demeanor just while she was on the stand, as opposed to yesterday where she was very quiet, soft-spoken, raspy at times, and emotional. But just as far as just some of the threats that were made to her, the government kind of pointed out an incident back in October of 2015 when Mia was down in Cape Town, South Africa with Cassie while Cassie was filming a movie. And so Diddy had told her to go to South Africa, according to Mia's testimony. However, Cassie caught Diddy cheating on her. There is a video posted online. This video was with Puffy or Diddy, along with Diddy's girlfriend, Gina. And so Mia had said that Cassie was devastated by this and that Cassie stopped answering Diddy's calls. So Diddy had Christina Coram and other staff members try to get Cassie on the phone. So we see an exhibit photo from October 26th of 2015. It's a text exchange between Christina Coram and Mia. Christina Coram's like, hey, it's KK. Did you get these? PD wants to talk to you. Sorry, messenger, don't shoot. Mia's essentially saying, I tried to call him. Christina Coram said, well, you can call me first. The audio call is not completed. And then they kind of talk about how Mia was getting all these kind of incessant phone calls from not only Christina Coram, but also Diddy, just trying to get in touch with her. She says that at times she was sleeping. There was a time difference. And so that was the essence of that. But even as far as threats to the job, she had kind of teased a little bit into this during her direct testimony yesterday, where she was explaining that she would get suspended and suspended without pay for issues just as simple as Diddy being mad at her and using this kind of as retribution towards her. And so she was kind of explaining that she was suspended for even oversleeping on the job because she was be awake so long. Then we kind of see an exhibit photo of a notice that kind of needed some further redaction. So it went up, it went down, but we were able to kind of get the gist of it. So this was from March 11th of 2011, and it was an email from Bad Boy HR or Bashta just about Mia's suspension. And so Mia was suspended in this instance without pay, and this has happened to her before. Diddy had asked Mia to get him a lot of options for workout clothes, and she had explained that this is normally a stylist's job, but Mia did what Mia did, and she did her job. She got out all these workout clothes for Diddy, laid them all out, and I guess Diddy cursed at her and got angrier and angrier, she had said. Mia tried to point.
It just reminds me of the the Dave Chappelle skit of the making the band, making them go, get the Cambodian breast milk, go get the cheesecake and all that stuff, like just things that he wanted. And like if anybody disobeyed him or if they just didn't do it in the way that he wanted, then he would either shut the studio down or just throw a crazy hissy fit. And yeah, even though the Dave Chappelle skit was satire, a lot of that stuff kind of rings true in reality in terms of like the way that he would retaliate against all of his employees by either docking their pay, abusing them emotionally, physically. And I mean, I don't know, man, you get that opportunity to be cut loose, most of these people, they probably wouldn't take it because he was probably taking care of them so when things were good. So
Point out there were other options as far as Diddy could use for workout clothes, but she explained that this just made him more irate, and Diddy was screaming, he was cursing at her, but she doesn't remember necessarily the details of the violence, but knows that something violent happened in this particular instance. And we see another exhibit, this being an email from a couple days later on March 25th of that same year. It was an email between Mia and James Cruz. This was Diddy or Puffy's manager. And James Cruz says, who's handling the tickets for the Kid Choice Awards? Because I want to bring my kids there. And Mia says, I don't know when that is, but he's currently firing me at the moment, smiley face. And while she's even kind of saying her own messages, she is kind of saying like, I don't know when that is, but he's currently firing me at the moment, smiley face. Like that was kind of her tone, which was, I felt, very different from how yesterday was. And then James Cruz had responded something along the lines of LOL, but he had said more, but you know how it goes. Everything just goes so fast. Mia responded, no, for real, and then said, sad face. Mia said, he said I talked back to him over workout clothes. So it all kind of all fell together. And then we see another exhibit from that same day, this one, an email from Mia or excuse me, this was an email from D-Rock to Mia, where D-Rock explained what happened. And Mia said he went bat SHIT on me because he didn't see all the workout options. What he'd say, what's he saying in the car? Give me a warning before you guys come back. Because she said she didn't want to be in the space when Diddy came back because she didn't want to know, or she didn't know what type of mood he was in and potentially what type of anger that he could protrude on her. And so
Could you imagine like having to work for a guy like Diddy where you have to pretty much walk on eggshells every day? You don't know, what type of mood he's going to be in because, he was on drugs. He was basically just a loose, like a full pot of hot water. And, I've worked with people, managers and owners and stuff that are like this. And it's not a good situation to be in. It's almost something that you're almost like, look, I almost would walk away from this, even if it is good pay, just so I can have my own mental health intact, because it can be very taxing to have to deal with that. And then with the physical abuse and all that other stuff, I mean, because, Diddy has that type of aura there. If you do him wrong, he can make your life a living hell, or he can make you go away. Because I remember he did make a couple threats to a few of his employees about sinking them in a East River. And so, he has a lot of connections to a lot of people that probably could just snuff you out, and, it would be a quick little payment.
So she said that she was worried about feeling his wrath. And in this instance, again, she was suspended without pay. And so we see another exhibit, this one from Mia, this one between Mia and Vashta, which was Bad Boy HR. And the email, again, goes by so fast, or the memo goes by so fast. But it said, on Friday, March 25th of 2011, you were suspended for 5 days. Diddy had said that she was insubordinate, and Mia had said that she wasn't being insubordinate, and that those weren't the only memos that were sent to her. They didn't include in these memos that Diddy was violent towards her. She was pretty much sad. She was confused, and that she didn't know what she did to essentially deserve this treatment in a way.
Didn't she also say that Combs had threatened to take away a TV show for her, or to something regarding ABC?
Mia was explaining while she was on the stand that Diddy around this time didn't want to be doing Revolt films anymore. He kind of wanted to focus on other projects he was working on. But Mia was super excited about this particular project. It was this scripted pilot show that was supposed to go to ABC. It was pretty much about the life of being Diddy's assistant, and this was a project that she was pretty excited about working on. But after an argument between Diddy and Mia, according to her, must have did something to Diddy, and Diddy took away this project from her. And for the most part, this project never even came more into fruition beyond the development point, because it never had aired. It didn't get greenlit necessarily because Diddy essentially took this project away from her. And she had explained that all she wanted to do was work in television and films, and she was super eager about this opportunity. However, this was another instance where he took things that she really worked hard for, she says, away from her.
Now, I think...
Yeah, and being able to blackball you from the type of media job that you want to have, it's very powerful, And I can see how anybody that was, in close proximity of working with Diddy, that they would try to do their best to just make him happy so that he could open up doors for them. And unfortunately, she stepped on a couple eggshells, and yeah, she got a lot of the brunt of it.
After reading the testimony, some of the most shocking moments came towards the end, okay? There was this back and forth about what happened after Cassandra Ventura filed her lawsuit in November 2023. This is very, very interesting, because I want to keep in mind these allegations about whether or not Sean Combs or anybody in his orbit maybe was engaged in tampering with a witness or bribing a witness. Those are underlying predicate crimes for racketeering. What happened, Elizabeth, after Cassandra Ventura?
And there was also the one bodyguard in the hotel, I believe either a bodyguard or a security guard that was paid off by Sean Combs, but I believe he refused the pay. I think he was offered like I think $100,000 because I think he was the one that witnessed him beating Cassie, and then in the lobby and stuff. And then I believe Diddy wanted the tapes for that whole incident, and he was willing to pay the guy for those tapes, and he refused it. So I do remember that. So yeah, I mean the whole bribery thing, that's a whole nother charge.
Filed her lawsuit in November of 2023. What did Mia say?
Yeah, so to your point, Jesse, this was towards the end of her direct examination. And so, yes, they were kind of talking about Cassie's now settled federal lawsuit against Diddy. But it's interesting because Mia had explained that around this time she heard from D-Rock, and D-Rock was not Diddy's security guard at the time because, again, this is 2023. He wasn't on the job anymore. He was spending more time with his family. However, D-Rock, out of the blue, reached out to Mia. And so we see this exhibit. It's a text message between D-Rock and Mia, and this is on this is on November 30th of 2023. So I believe about a little bit more than a week after Cassie's lawsuit was settled. And so D-Rock says, "Hey, what's up, Mia?" And Mia responds, D-Rock. And that's kind of the way she was saying it, even while she was on the witness stand today. So she was like, hi, how are you? I miss you so effing much. And D-Rock had responded, a lot's been going on. I'm about to call you. And so this call happened on November 30th of 2023. When D-Rock had called Mia on that day, he was saying something to the effect of, it's crazy what's going on, said that Cassie and Diddy would fight like a normal couple. Mia said that D-Rock would witness a lot, so she kind of thought it was weird that he was talking like this. And she said it didn't even seem necessarily like him to kind of say these things. And D-Rock had told Mia that Puffy or Diddy missed her. And so Mia said that others surprisingly were kind of echoing the same thing, that this was just a normal couple situation, that this wasn't abusive or toxic, nothing to that effect, that the fights between Cassie and Diddy were just nothing more than what normal couples go through, which is interesting because even during trial, it seems like that's what the defense's perspective has been. But D-Rock had said that he was landing in Miami to go where? To Puffy's house or Diddy's house, and it was essentially to take care of Christian, who is Diddy's son. And so D-Rock said that Puffy wanted to talk to Mia, and Mia thought that Puffy or Diddy wanted her to make this public statement. So then there's an objection by the defense. That objection is sustained. Mia said that she had acted like she wanted to talk to him, but she said that she was scared to talk to him. She's recalling all this trauma that she went through, and that on that same day, and a few hours later, or just something soon to D-Rock's call, Puffy or Diddy had called her too, and Mia had explained that she threw her phone and just ran outside because just getting Diddy's message or getting Diddy's phone call was so triggering to her. That's what she had said. And so then we see another exhibit from D-Rock, and these are text messages again with Mia, but they're a couple weeks later. They're on December 5th of 2023. And D-Rock had said, your boy wants you to call him. He just called me, and Mia didn't respond to this message. Then we fast forward to February 2nd of 2024. We see another text exhibit, this one of D-Rock saying, good morning, did you speak to P? P being Puffy. He called me. Are you okay? I can't believe you aren't hitting me back. Mia responds, hi D, so sorry. I just finished scuba diving all day and didn't have a phone on the boat. I haven't talked to him. I don't have my phone alerts on. I called back with no answer, but Mia said she was lying. She said she didn't call Diddy back. And D-Rock had said, well, let me know. I can send you something. And Mia perceived this something to be possibly money. And Mia responded in this text message. She didn't say that she thought it was money in the text message. She said this during her testimony today, but Mia responded in the text saying, no, I didn't ask for anything. And I'm kind of paraphrasing here. She said a lot more, but again, these exhibits go by so fast. But D-Rock said, well, I'm allowed to send my sister a gift, because the two thought of each other as kind of big bro, little sister. And again, Mia thought that this gift or this little something special was money. And so the last message that we see from D-Rock is on February 3rd of 2024, where D-Rock tried to call. Mia said, hi, D, love you. I was on a boat all day. And then Mia was saying that she was essentially trying to play dumb, and that Diddy on that same day sent her 2 text messages. And Mia thought that Diddy was using D-Rock to make sure that Mia wasn't a threat to whatever was going on. Because by this point, Jesse, we all know that Diddy was facing kind of a number of different civil lawsuits and civil litigation right after the trickle effect from from Cassie's lawsuit. So I think that from maybe Diddy's perspective, he was trying to reach out to Mia, make sure that she could maybe kind of either be back in his good graces or maybe say something along the lines of he was a good person. It felt like that type of thing.
Sounds like Puffy's trying to like get ahead of it and try to get people like on his side, at least if he does go to court, to have, a few more people in his corner. But, unfortunately, it seems like she kind of slipped through his grasp, and, she was already traumatized by what he had put her through.
Then we see another message, this one the following day on February 4th of 2024, but this one was from Diddy to Mia, where Diddy said, "Hey Mia, it's Puff. Please let me know when you got 10 minutes to talk. Love you. Hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone," because in between the "love you" and "hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone," Mia didn't respond. So in the next message, and that being 3 days later on February 7th, Diddy had responded, "Hey, I don't want to be blowing up your phone. Just had my memory jogged on some things. You were my right hand for years, so I just want to remember who was even around me, and it would be good to hear your voice." And Mia said that she was terrified to get these text messages. And then as they're kind of ending the direct examination, Mia said that she's not working right now. She still has PTSD, and that part's going to be stricken from the record because there was an objection from the defense. But she was saying that she still has PTSD. She says she's triggered in normal situations. She feels overwhelmed. Someone could say, "Hey, where are you?" And they're just talking about grabbing a coffee. But from Mia's perspective, and according to her testimony today, she was explaining something just like that even just kind of makes her heart race, and she just feels triggered even as someone simply asking, "Hey, where are you?" given everything that she had went through while on the job with Diddy. And so she says that she triple guesses everything she does. And then on the final question, the prosecutor asked, "And who caused you kind of triple guess yourself?" And she had ended her testimony under direct by saying Puffy did this.
Gotta say, that timing, if true, of him reaching out to her and the way that he reached out to her, very, very interesting. Because if I recall correctly, could be wrong, I think he might have been aware, or his attorneys might have been aware, that the government had started investigating him. And if that's the case, and the prosecution can prove that, that, again, may help with the tampering and the bribery, if you accept that that's what a gift with D-Rock is. I think that's important for the overall narrative and also for the racketeering charge. Now, before we move into the...
Yeah, to not give her the money directly, but to give it to D-Rock to give to her, it would still, yeah. I mean, I think she was able to see through that was definitely a ploy by him to, get back in her good graces, get the communication going again. But, she was already too far gone to slip back into that. And, the damage had already been done.
The cross. Before we move into it, and the theme has been she's alleging quite the abusive situation, and Brian Steele really hit upon that based on messages that she had posted and things she said. Before we even get into the cross, didn't the prosecutor, when questioning Mia, get a little bit into that? A little bit of messages where she wrote, "Combs, I love you," or something of that nature. So before we even move into the cross, on direct, it seemed like they were trying to anticipate what the defense was going to get into, right?
So absolutely, Jesse. So we saw some of those text exhibits, and I do kind of agree with your point that I do think that the government was trying to get ahead of this, where, for example, we saw an exhibit email from Mia to Diddy, and this is on October 17th of 2015, where Mia had said, "Hey, Puff, how are you? You know I love you and would do anything for you, smiley face. I bought my own ticket with my own money to make sure that C being Cassie, was good. It's expensive to kind of keep changing my flights." And Mia was explaining even while she was on the stand that she says, "I love you," or "I love you," to like pretty much everyone within the staff, because she felt like these people were her family. She and Puff kind of exchanged "I love yous" back to one another. And so I do think that the prosecution was trying to get ahead of it. But I will say this, that when the defense came out during their cross-examination, I will say that there were a lot of kind of like head scratches within the exhibits, just of what was shown by the defense versus what was shown by the prosecution. So I think the government tried their best to kind of get ahead of it as far as why Mia, after someone who had allegedly sexually assaulted her, thrown spaghetti bowls at her, had tormented her while on the job, was still saying things to the effects of "love you" or "heart you" or smiley face and heart emojis, that type of thing, to their boss, who who, by her account, terrorized her while she was on the job.
It could just lend itself that, she was probably in fear of her life. So she was just doing and saying whatever to keep things afloat, to not rock the boat, to not get him angry, because she had already seen that side. So, if she could just play along, and maybe she could buy her time and maybe, figure something out. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good because it does go against, the way that she was feeling. Why would you, play along if you could just, I don't know, remain consistent with what you're saying and how you're really feeling. Um, so yeah, and I do believe they're going to go into. I think the defense is going to go into the whole. I think there was a birthday message that was sent between Puffy and Mia, and yeah, I believe she was posting a lot of stuff on social media, and that's also what is going to kind of, you know, is going to kind of trip her up a little bit, because a lot of it was very positive. And I believe she did say, she's like, when things were good, things were really good. But when things were bad, it was almost like, you know, it was just like the worst that it could be. And I guess when you bounce back and forth to those extremes, and then you're making this crazy amount of money, you're traveling all over the world and stuff, and you're also having a lot of these opportunities afforded to you, it's like you really kind of weigh it out. It's like, could you go back to just trying to, make your dreams come true another way without Puff Daddy, you know, or do you just grin and bear it, and go through the trauma and the stress in order to experience these things that you normally wouldn't experience? I can see how it can be very difficult, but I don't know. I think there's also just the fear aspect, the fear of speaking up, and and also giving up, knowing what you would be giving up if you did speak up.
And by the way, in that vein, right, that vein of this complicated relationship and how she felt about him, same conversation comes up with Cassie Ventura. Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave the job? Why didn't you step away? That came up during one specific trip, right? I think it was to St. Bart's. What happened there?
Yeah, so that's always the number one question when these things happen, right? Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you go? If your life was not the way you thought it would be, why did you continue to stay? But Mia explained while she was on the stand that she did try to leave in one instance, and this was New Year's Eve in 2010 going into 2011. And if you kind of know and you've been following this case, you know that New Year's Eve is a time where Puffy spends it with his kids. And in this particular trip, he actually spent it with his kids and Kim Porter on this yacht, as well as with Mia and some other staffers, celebrating what was supposed to be the new year of 2011. And so Mia was explaining that it was herself, Puffy, Kim Porter, Diddy's kids, another assistant was there on this yacht that Diddy had chartered. And Diddy called Mia to come to the room to count this money in this safe. And Diddy got angry because Mia was counting the money too slow. And Mia had said that it wasn't $100, that she thought it was a lot more than that, maybe possibly thousands. And Mia said that she was in shock that he got so irate with her. He chased her.
Wait. You mean to tell me billionaire Diddy didn't have a money counter? He actually had to have somebody physically count that? I mean, I can see the logic in it, but I still think you should just get a money counter, man, and call it a day. You don't need people to do that for you.
Out of where she was counting this.
Maybe it's just another power trip thing. That's probably what that is.
Money. And Diddy said something along the effects of, "You better walk on water like Jesus, B word." So while on the stand, Mia was explaining that normally security is the one that counted money. So when Diddy was yelling at her, she ran upstairs onto the third floor of this yacht because, again, Diddy has a lot of money. So, of course, there would be a third floor on a yacht. So while she's up on the third floor of this very expensive yacht, Kim Porter, the mother of some of Diddy's children, actually came up there and consoled her and tried to check on her and tell her everything was going to be okay. But then Diddy came upstairs, and she being Mia, went and hid in the crew cabin. And she said that she had to get a tender boat, or I guess a boat that is kind of an extension of the yacht to kind of go back to the main island, and that the captain of this tender boat got a call that Mia had to come back, and she had to come back to the yacht, and she said that she just wanted to get away. She wanted to get out of St. Bar's, but the thing is that Diddy staff had her passport. And so staff made Mia.
Yes. So when you have the passport of somebody, that means you can't leave. And does this fall under kidnapping? Holding you against your will, being a hostage? Possibly.
Get into this car. Puffy or Diddy comes in and calls Michelle, who was then his chief of staff, and made up this story. And Mia said that she tried to chime in, and Diddy told her to shut the F up. And Michelle told Mia, just do what Puffy says. Puffy's going to take care of her. And Mia ended up going on a plane with Diddy to Vegas. And she said she felt like she just didn't have a choice.
Yeah, this is very consistent with what prosecutors laid out in the first few pages of the indictment against Sean Combs. When they talk about racketeering and this pattern of abuse towards women and also towards assistants and those who worked for him, it goes towards that. It also goes to this idea of forced labor, which we talk about so many times. And it wasn't just the hours that they worked, but if she was subjected to sexual assault and physical abuse, it kind of goes to the idea of she was forced to do this because of threats and violence and things of that nature. So she finishes up her direct examination, and then she is cross-examined by Brian Steele, one of Sean Combs' defense attorneys, the attorney who represented Young Thug, by the way. And the way it started, there was a lot of focus on her social media activity, right? What happened there?
So right before Mia comes back onto the witness stand for the cross-examination, because we took a bit of a morning break in between the direct ending and the cross starting, I saw the defense attorneys actually putting up a bunch of binders and notebooks onto the jury's different seats, and these were kind of a bunch of just demonstrative pretty much evidence of photos and pictures and text messages that they did right before Mia took the stand again. And so right when she had taken the stand, the jury's brought back in. Brian Steele does the cross-examination. I was wondering where he was going to go with this. Again, Mia had very heavy testimony just yesterday, and even just ending today, ending her direct examination today, I was really thinking, how is the defense going to kind of come at her in a way? Are they going to attack her? Are they going to be soft with her? But it seemed like from Brian Steele that he was a little tough on her, I will say this. So
Yeah, I believe there was a skit that was done by Funny or Die, I think. I think it was done, yeah. And it involved Mia, Puff Daddy. I think there was one other person. But it was, I think it was a skit where she was giving birth to Puff's baby or something. And it was like a social media post or whatever for Funny or Die. And it was just, I guess it was brought to her like, hey, why would you do something like this for a man who sexually assaulted you? But I guess it goes back to, there was a lot of forced labor where she felt like she didn't have a choice and she couldn't escape and stuff. But I don't know. It just seems like if you're around a production crew, you couldn't just ask for help. I don't know. It just seems like it seems like it would be so easy to do that. But evidently there was a lot of situations where Puff Daddy would assault a woman in front of a group of people that I guess either knew Puff or worked closely with him, and they just kind of looked the other way. So it was kind of an ongoing situation. It would happen with Cassie as well, where, he would punch her in the gut or something, and there would be other people around that just would not do anything. So it's kind of a shitty situation.
So he starts off by asking her, because of Sean Combs, you suffered this great deal. And Mia responds, yes. You had trauma working with Sean Combs. She says, yes. Oh, he made you do things that are unthinkable. Like, he was really exaggerating his words while he was asking her these questions. He did things to you that were unthinkable. He violated you in ways that are just unimaginable. And she says, true, or yes. And then Brian Steele starts throwing all these photos at her and messages at her, not literally, but in exhibits and in evidence. So we see an image of Mia from social media. Her face is blurred, so we don't see her real face in these exhibit photos, but it's from January of 2013, and these are posted to her personal account, and all that kind of sensitive information is redacted. And it's this photo of Mia posting with the Ciroc bottles, and Diddy used to represent Ciroc in a way as far as brand deals and advertisement goes. And Mia had wrote in this caption, "What we do when you're not around at I am Diddy, hashtag Ciroc." And the defense says, well, this was 4 years after your employment. This was years after the sexual assault. And that's where kind of a lot of their questions were really going to. We see another exhibit photo, this one of on July 4th of 2013. But this one is a photo of Mia and Cassie. They're kind of holding their hands up on the beach, kind of that typical, beach photo, vacation photo type of vibe. In the caption, Mia wrote, "Custom-made Cabo bracelets because it's funny. Hashtag rich AF." And the defense points out that Diddy paid for this vacation. Then we see an exhibit photo of Diddy, and the caption, again, these are posted on Mia's personal account, that say, "Just the #1 guy on Forbes list getting a vanilla latte." We see another exhibit photo, October 17th of 2013, an Instagram photo. This of Carrie Morgan, who testified for the government just a couple weeks ago. We see it of Mia and Diddy all in this photo together. And the caption is, "Take me back to Burning Man." We see another exhibit photo the month later, November 4th of 2013. It's a photo of Mia pretending to give birth, and Diddy's kind of in this doctor's costume. It was kind of, I guess, for this Funny or Die skit, and Mia had participated, I guess, in the production of it and was just making kind of that funny post, I guess. And it was something that Andy Samberg had directed. And Mia wrote in this caption, "Last non-B-Day shout out to my mentor at I Am Diddy. Thank you for letting me give birth to my dreams." And Brian Steele at this point says, "You posed with your rapist pretending to give birth." And this was really kind of I will say, a little of an aggressive moment. I did see one juror's head just kind of pop up from his notebook when he had said that, because it really was just like, oh my God, wow, he really just kind of threw it out there. And Brian Steele is like, November 4th is not only memorable to Mr. Combs, but it also is to you, because if you go back to her testimony from yesterday, she had said on November 4th, around 2009, I had said 2010 yesterday, but it was 2009, that Diddy had sexually assaulted her at his birthday party up at a penthouse here in New York. And Mia is responding, "Oh, I don't know what you mean." And Brian Steele is like, "Well, at Diddy's 2009 birthday party, you found yourself alone with Mr. Combs." And the defense, again, trying to point out this is the same day that Mia says she was sexually assaulted. Then they started kind of get into things that Mia didn't necessarily say, but kind of you would think that by her testimony yesterday, for example, when she had said that she had taken 2 shots, she had felt particularly woozy. And Brian Steele was like, "Well, you thought you were drugged." And Mia said, "Well, I didn't say that." And Brian Steele says, "But you believed it happened." And Mia responded, "It's possible, yes." And Brian Steele says, "You felt without desire or consent Mr. Combs put his hand up your dress." And Mia responded, "Yes." "And you felt it was paralyzing?" "Yes." "And all that happened to you on November 4th of 2009? Mia responds, "Yes." "But you still gave him a birthday shout out?" And Mia says, "Yes." So then we see more exhibit photos. This one of Diddy and Mia together on Diddy's birthday on November 4th of 2013. And Mia wrote in this caption, "Happy anniversary to your B-Day last year. Since this year, you changed your B-Day on some Puff Daddy SHIT. Thank you for being funny, because you're effing funny, like really, really funny." The defense points out in this particular photo that Diddy was holding his genitalia, and points out that, again, this is the same day years earlier that Diddy had sexually assaulted her, according to her testimony. We see another exhibit photo, and really it just kind of felt like an Instagram photo dump, if you will, because it was just photo after photo after photo, just
Yeah, it's conflicting information because of what she was claiming and then also what she was posting. It's like, how could you feel one way about a certain situation that you went through and then also be posting something that's happy about it, and or almost like you're almost removed from it, or like it didn't really happen like that. And I think that's what the defense was really pushing for, is that maybe you weren't sexually assaulted, maybe you were just going with the flow, and you know it wasn't what you're making it out to be, which I can see how that's a good defense. It's like that's the double-edged sword of social media is like everything that you post is a record because it's all time stamped. So if you claim something happened during this period of time, but then you're posting stuff about this person in a positive light, it kind of goes against whatever you were feeling about them. So I can kind of see that approach and how that is working.
Of Mia saying these really kind words to Diddy. So we see another photo of a bunch of people also celebrities in a pool together. It's Meek Mill, it's Cassie, it's Diddy, it's The Game, who is a rapper. And Mia is asked, this is a picture that you chose to post. And Mia said, yeah, because there are times during her testimony where she said that she felt forced to post these things and that she was only posting these things because she only wanted to show the very highs of her job, the really good moments. She said that Instagram at the time, which I kind of agree, at the time was just a place where you really just weren't posting the bad things. You were really just posting the highlight reels of your life. And that's what Mia's explanation was. While she was on the stand of why she was saying all these very nice things about Diddy. Then you see an exhibit photo of a collage, Diddy and Mia, happy new birthday to my mentor, my inspiration, brother, I love you. So another instance where she's saying I love you. Then we see a whole bunch of other photos. We see Diddy and Mia in December 5th of 2013. We see a Ciroc billboard in Times Square where the caption reads, look, Mom, I'm on a billboard in Times Square. We see Cassie and Mia together on May 29th of 2014, and Mia saying in this caption, every hour should be like happy hour, rosé on Thursday, NYC approved, next stop Istanbul. And I think the defense was trying to point out here that maybe Diddy had paid for this trip, but Mia had said, oh no, Cassie had a club appearance and the management company that had did this club appearance was the one who had paid for this trip. Then we see Mia and Cassie on a Sprinter van together. Then we see more photo collages, Mia at Burning Man, Diddy and Muhammad Ali together, a photo collage of Diddy on his 45th birthday. And so there really was just a lot. And by a lot, I truly mean a lot of photo exhibits, particularly from Mia's social media account that they just used in a way against her.
Yeah, all of the experiences that she got to have under Puff Daddy, and whether she looked at it as she was trapped by working with him, or that she was actually enjoying the experience. It kind of blurs the line a bit when you have a happy caption to go with every experience that you posted about. So yeah, and I can see her whole idea that, oh, I was just posting the good things, and because that's what Instagram was for. But yeah, it just what messes everything up is how she claimed at this certain time this is where she was sexually assaulted by him, and then within like the same time period she was posting good stuff about that. So I mean, I don't know, it just seems like she was kind of compliant, or she felt like she was trapped and she just couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, it just doesn't, it seems like a situation where she could have done more to get out of it, but I think the benefits outweighed the cons in the situation.
And so she basically said that it was a facade, right, to hide the truth. But didn't she also say at one point, and maybe it was about questioning her lack of memory about certain aspects of the sexual assault, that maybe I'm wrong about it. Did she say, talk to my therapist?
Yeah, she did. And she said even while she was testifying today.
XO Charles, welcome to the stream. Hello, everyone. How you doing, sir? Yeah, man, we're just diving into this whole Diddy case, man. It's week 3, and the testimony with Mia, and also I believe they're going to be talking about one more rapper that came up and testified. I think it was I'm already forgetting the guy's name, man. My brain is just like it's just mush right now from all of the facts here with this whole Mia case. Let me see, what was that guy's name? Oh, the only reason I know he did a song with Eminem. Hold on, Eminem and Moon Man. I think it's like Moon Man, but it's not really his name. Oh, what is his name? Kid Cudi. That's why I couldn't think of it. It's Kid Cudi. Yeah, so basically Kid Cudi's gonna testify, and he's gonna talk about how when he was dating Cassie, who was at this point Puff Daddy's ex, Puff Daddy went to his house and threw a Molotov cocktail into his car, destroyed his car. And, apparently he was also out of the country. Maybe he hired somebody to do it. But it was one of those things that Kid Cudi addressed to him about it, went to, asked him about it and stuff like that. Puff Daddy played like ignorant, like he didn't know what he was talking about. And then when he finally testified, he said a lot of that was true, that it was actually Puff Daddy, because he's pretty much the only one that had the motive, to do something like that.
That she really was kind of really coming to terms just with everything that she was going through, even while testifying in this trial, which for her testimony began just yesterday. And so there were points where Brian still was really kind of laying into her, where it's like, why are you saying these very nice things about your boss who tormented you and traumatized you and sexually assaulted you, and you're responding that you love him and that he's the best mentor and boss to you. And so Brian still.
Coke Benny, welcome to the stream. What's up, bud? What's up, Camp? Good to see you, sir. Yeah, I've had a request to talk about the IRL stream that Myron did, and we're going to talk about that, and also the Tate brothers being charged in the UK. That was something also that I talked about. This is pretty much one thing about the Diddy case that I will be completely honest with you guys about. I don't think he's going to be getting off. I think that the charges that they're going to levy against him and stuff, they're going to continue to build upon all of this by bring forth all of the witnesses, people that work closely with him, to corroborate all of the evidence. If they get him on anything, it's definitely going to be on the transporting of escorts. Basically the whole what was it, kidnapping. I don't know why my brain is freaking gone right now. Kidnapping, and also the RICO charge, as far as bribery and paying people off to cover things up, as far as the assault and anything publicly shown. There's going to be more that's going to come through, but as far as the defense, they said, not the defense, the people that are charging Diddy, they say that they can wrap this up in about 5 weeks, and we're on week 3. But it's they're saying, well, we could probably go to about 10 weeks. But yeah, they're saying right now they're confident in their conviction, and if they do convict him, he's looking at pretty much a life sentence. Whereas if they're able to get him off, yeah, it doesn't look good. I don't think he's going to be able to get off on this one. There was question to Donald Trump if he was going to possibly pardon Diddy. And, even though Donald Trump has had close ties with Diddy, there's photographs of him possibly at parties or at functions with Diddy. And, but he has not denied or confirmed that he would do that. But if he did, it would be like a huge, like, hey, I'm the Trump and I can do whatever I want because it's my last term. It's my last hoorah. So I don't know if Trump will do it, because I think it would do a lot of backlash towards him. But honestly, it's his last term. He probably doesn't care. But
Bill said, what could be more horrible than what you described? There was an objection from the government. That objection was sustained. Then Brian still had asked Mia another question, still kind of along to this effect. But Mia had said, the second that it went back to good, things were amazing. Again, kind of pointing back to when the highs were high, the low, they were high, but when the lows were low, they were very low. She said it was like an abusive relationship. There was shame. I don't know how to explain it. I was eager to survive. No one was there standing up to his behavior. I'm still unpacking it, even in therapy. And Brian still had asked, well, why would you be confused at all when Diddy acted like he would even kill you in some points? And he had asked, why did you need someone else to tell you that this was wrong? And Mia said, well, my logic brain and my trauma brain, it kind of always wins. You make excuses for people. I just wanted to be my best. I wanted to make people happy. I'm a people pleaser, and I forgive people all the time for things. And
you had a lifestyle as well that he was providing you. I mean, you were going to all these different places, you were getting into all these different events and stuff, and you were getting paid probably handsomely. So it seemed like it was a good life that you had access to as long as you put up with the bad stuff as well. The stuff that came with the territory, and maybe a little bit of sexual assault, here and there. But hey, you get to travel the world and, may possibly achieve your dreams of being in media like, you want, because he has those connections. It sucks that, a lot of women feel like they have no other choice, that they feel like this is their way in. And, unfortunately, it's like, what is the alternative? You try to get an agent, try to do it on your own and maybe not, get as far. Or do you just risk it all and just work under this crazy madman that you don't know what it's going to be like when you go into work? It's like you take that risk.
Brian Steele had asked, well, why didn't you confront him? And Mia said, I did confront him in St. Bart's in that particular instance, and that Diddy had told her in this instance, when it comes to the St. Bart's trip, that Mia was actually correct. And so Brian Steele was really kind of accusing Mia of just lying in a way about the sexual assaults even happening, and Mia maintained that she didn't lie. And I kind of felt like, in a way, that Brian still kind of needed to ease up just a little bit on her, because given that it was such an emotional day yesterday, again, I kind of felt like it was coming across like you're really kind of talking to a sexual assault victim and you're questioning, did these types of things happen? And so that was my...
Yeah, but I think it warrants being aggressive, because women have been known to retract consent over time when they see that whatever opportunity that they thought was going to come their way gets swept up from under them, and it's no longer a possibility, whether they got fired or whatever. And now they want to retroactively say, oh, he essayed me, and now they're going to try to take him for all he's got. It's like that has happened, so there is a precedent for it. So it kind of warrants being aggressive. And if you're telling the truth, it should be easy to just tell your story and not like feel like you're being attacked. It's like you should be able to stand on whatever actually happened. And if it is what it is, if you actually consented with it because you were looking at the benefits, you were weighing it up, and you're like, yeah, the benefits kind of outweigh the bad. The good outweighs the bad. But I don't know. I think there's just some things that you can't compromise. And someone having control over your body and your mind and stuff like that, it just seems like, yeah, you're giving up all autonomy, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna be in years of therapy, because now you're gonna be sorting through the rest of your life, like your own self-worth, and it just it's not worth it at all.
Perception of it. Now, it's not up to me. I'm not going into deliberations, right? It's up to the jury. But I will say, I was wondering kind of how the jurors were feeling about this. Were they conflicted? Did they still believe Mia? Because really, Brian Steele, I will say, was very aggressive with her. And I thought at some points that she would crack, she would get emotional, but she didn't. She really kind of held her ground even during these really tough lines of questioning.
And to be clear, did you get a reaction from the jury? Because it's delicate. I've seen it in countless cases before. I mentioned it during the lunchtime show earlier today when I was covering the Harvey Weinstein trial in downtown New York. The way they cross-examined his defense counsel, the way they cross-examined the victims in that case, from their perspective, their client's innocent. These people are coming over and lying about their client, hoping he gets convicted, right? Of course they're going to go, strong against them. The other way of looking at it is, you don't want to turn the jury off, right? After everything she testified to, there's a way to point out inconsistencies versus actually beating her up. Real quick, did you get anything from the jury about how they were reacting to this cross? And there's a lot more I want to get into with it, though.
Yeah, for sure. From what I could see of the jurors, it really was, again, another packed day inside that courtroom, a lot of heads in there. So when I was trying to get like little peeks here and there of them, what I could see was some of the jurors looking directly at Brian Steele. On the other side of the jury box, I could see some jurors looking right at Mia. I didn't see an instance from my point of view, because I was kind of in the back corner a little bit in the courtroom in the gallery. But from what I could see, I didn't see like anybody wiping away tears, nothing to that effect. But really, it was just either their eyes were on Brian Steele or their eyes were on Mia, but I couldn't tell. Again, to me, they're very hard to read. I think for others, maybe they're a little more expressive, but to me, I just feel like I never know kind of what's going on in their head when they're thinking about just all this testimony and all this back and forth in a way.
I got a great question during the lunchtime show. How is this jury going to remember everything? Right? How are they going to remember everything at the end of 8 weeks of testimony, which again goes to the importance of the jury instructions, importance of the closing arguments. I've said it before, I said it again, I think this whole case comes down to the closing arguments, how each side summarizes everything that happened and matches it up to the elements of the crimes. We'll get to that at a later date. Okay, speaking of the lunchtime show, which we do on YouTube where we take people's comments, there was a controversial moment that we were breaking down for about 20 minutes. This all had to do with some sort of video, this 2013, 2014 video that, if I'm understanding it correctly, the defense got last night, and there was a whole issue about whether or not someone posted it on social media and whether or not Mia's identity was revealed and how they got it and whether or not they could cross-examine her about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, if one side of the defense gets some media off the internet and they don't give it to the prosecution to go through as well, I don't think the judge is going to allow that for the most part, because it's all about disclosure, having a fair trial, having equal assessment to all evidence that's provided. So something like that would probably not be admissible in court.
It was a little complicated reading the transcript. What exactly happened here?
Well, I will tell you this, Jesse, and I think I've told you this before, is that some of the best moments I feel like of this trial are always outside of the presence of the jury. It's really when it comes down to these arguments, half of the time, because it's whether or not certain pieces of evidence will go in as evidence, or whether or not that they'll not be used as evidence or be used as a demonstrative. But it seemed like from the defense's perspective, they really wanted to get this 20-second or 30-second video in, because you could tell that they were upset with just how yesterday went for them, because it really was a heavy day, and I can't emphasize that enough. There were people who were emotional inside the gallery. I couldn't see if people were emotional inside the jury box necessarily, but there have been reports of that. But as far as just how yesterday went for them, it didn't look too good for them. And so I think what the defense was trying to do was introduce this particular piece of evidence because they felt like this showed the real Mia. They said the Mia that was on the stand yesterday testifying wasn't how she truly is. They were trying to show Mia in her true form. They were saying the person that they saw on the witness stand, they didn't know how her direct examination would even go. And so you could feel that they were a little upset just kind of how the events turned yesterday. And so they wanted to put this video in of Mia saying happy birthday to Diddy, and that Diddy's defense believed that it had a lot of probative value. They said they wanted to use it for impeachment, but they got the video just yesterday, the video again being 20 seconds long. But then there were points where Brian Steele was initially making this argument. Alexandra Shapiro just kind of jumps up out of her seat and asks the judge, hey, can I chime in here? And the judge said no, and in a very stern way. He was like, no. And so the defense was kind of pointing out that Mia felt obligated to post these happy birthday posts on her social media platform and photos. But this video in particular, they say, really kind of shows that it was just the exact opposite. Then Shapiro is able to chime in, and she says that this witness is trying to present herself as traumatized, but the video shows the opposite. It shows her real self. And the defense says that they found this video just yesterday. But the judge said, so you're telling me you didn't view this video until yesterday, but it was always in your possession? Because then there was this whole debacle on whether or not the defense even had this in their possession beforehand, because they were claiming that somebody sent this to them, because after Mia testified that her real name had gotten out there and that people were reaching out to the defense, sending the defense attorneys videos of Mia. And so they wanted to admit this video in, but then there was just kind of a hiccup on whether or not this was always in their possession, or whether or not that this video just came into their possession yesterday. The government felt like it wasn't in good faith that they didn't turn over this video to them. And so the judge kind of got a little mad at the defense and told them, why don't y'all take 5 minutes and confer with one another, being the defense attorneys get in a huddle in a way to kind of confer just how this video came into their possession. And so at this point, Alexandra Shapiro was chiming in, Brian Steele was chiming in, Mark Agnifilo was chiming in. It really was just kind of this back and forth. So yes, there were points where they were like, oh, this video is from 2013, someone sent it to us, but also it's in our possession. And the judge was like, well, you guys might not be complying with my order. So the defense steps out. They come back in 5 minutes later, and Alexandra Shapiro says, well, we all saw the video at different times, all being the defense attorneys. And so they said people on the internet told us that they figured out who Mia is. So we revisited using this video, and that this video wasn't posted to her social media. They found it on some random website, that there's no prejudice to the government, but there is prejudice to his defense if they don't show this video. And so then the judge views this video on like a laptop. He's wearing headphones, so unfortunately I couldn't hear what was said in this video. It didn't play for the entire gallery or the overflow room to hear.
What's interesting is that the video wasn't on her Instagram or her own website and stuff, that it was found on a random website. So that's kind of concerning that it could be possible AI, because, we live in the age now where anybody can just, take an image of somebody, make a video of it, and whatever, through whatever prompt, have them do whatever they want. So it's not really, it can't be admissible in court, especially if it hasn't been, I guess, submitted as evidence in the very beginning, because you have to do that, as a defense. You have to show the prosecution everything that you got, and this video coming into their possession in the middle of this trial, it there's no way that it will be admissible, because it wasn't it came in the middle, basically. And it's very unorthodox in order to present evidence that way. And at least that's why I know.
And then the government chimes in and they say that the defense should have turned this video over to the government yesterday when they knew they wanted to use it. They say it's in violation of the court's order, whereas Alexandra Shapiro is really feisty when she's doing some of these arguments. We haven't seen her cross-examine a witness yet. However, when she's doing these arguments, you really can see her get kind of a little animated, a little frustrated. She's like mouthing words to other defense attorneys. It's really a sight to see, I will say that. And so Alexandra Shapiro says, well, we saw the video yesterday on the internet, and the judge ruled that the video is precluded because the relevance and probative value is minimal and that it violated the court's order. And Alexandra Shapiro seemed pretty kind of annoyed about this. Like, she really just kind of was like, like that type of way. But then at the end of the day, Jesse, they revisited this because the defense was like, okay, we wanted to do this for impeachment. It doesn't fall under the court's order as far as, I guess, 403, 404 evidence. And Jesse, you can talk a little bit more about that. But the defense seems like they really wanted to use this video. And it seems like it's going to be a continued discussion possibly on whether or not they'll be able to use it if they can get the government to kind of look at this video, see all of this video and its contents, and possibly they could use the video too under their redirect. So it was some interesting arguments all over a 30 or 20-second video.
Look, it's important because there can be no surprise attacks at trial. There is a different story if something comes into your possession.
That's what I said. There can't be any surprises. Everything has to be presented forward. So you come into a bit of evidence and you try to like present it, you kind of throw the prosecution off. They're like, wait a minute, like we didn't know anything about this. So now they would have to deliberate and figure out their strategy to go up against it. And that's just not how it's supposed to work. So there's, I don't see how a 30-second video is going to be admissible, even if it does derail her character, whatever she's trying to present, and show her in a light of, oh, she was consenting to a lot of this stuff, whereas she has been saying that she's felt like she was trapped and that she was being assaulted and demeaned and all this stuff, when there's a video that's out there that shows her being pretty happy to be there, very happy to go along, to get along.
At the last minute, putting aside the fact, if people started to figure out Mia's identity, that's quite the problem, to say the least. And you can have a piece of evidence that maybe is relevant, but what the court will not do is allow cumulative evidence, right? If it's hitting the same point that you've already hit so many times with all of the social media posts, and there's already this controversy with the video, rather not include it. So aside from the fact that she was cross-examined about a lot of these social media posts, I was reading there was a large discussion regarding a scrapbook that she apparently made for Diddy. So again, the man that she says abused her, sexually assaulted her, that she witnessed abusing Cassandra Ventura, that she was afraid of. Talk to us about the scrapbook.
Yeah, well, the scrapbook seemed like something that the defense really wanted to get in as evidence, but they were only allowed to use it as a demonstrative. And even when they were passing this particular scrapbook around to the jury, they really were like, okay, you can't be looking at it too long, getting lost into it. But it was a birthday present from Mia to Diddy for his 45th birthday. And so we see an exhibit photo of kind of this, I think it was a cover letter or just kind of this long, like, happy birthday note. So I was able to jot down the gist of it because it really was kind of pretty lengthy. And so she had said sometimes life goes by at catastrophic speeds. Then she goes on to say life keeps going and going. All of this to say that you get to take a step back and enjoy your accomplishments. I put together this book of articles from 1991 to 1999. And Mia was explaining the reason that she did this because I guess they were on a plane with Diddy and Mia, and Mia was kind of looking out of the window, I guess seeing the skyline, and Diddy said something along the effects that he used to have this look in his eye of just like, like a whoa, but like I think as he got more powerful, as he got more money, that it just didn't have that same effect, and it was kind of that type of conversation where Mia was explaining that Diddy was being very vulnerable during this moment and that life didn't have much meaning to him, that she was kind of saying that that's kind of the reason that she made this scrapbook. And she said, how do you get someone who is very, very rich, meaningful birthday present? And so she came up with this scrapbook. And so Brian still did touch upon this. So a man who ruined your life, you write this to him? And Mia had responded, yeah, it's psychological abuse. And she said everyone at the office even excused his behavior. And so that's when Brian still goes into, okay, well, what could be more horrible than you described, just as far as Diddy's treatment to Mia. And so then what ends up happening is that this scrapbook is passed around to the jury. So I could see from where I was in the gallery, just the jury kind of thumbing through it. It's a bunch of different articles that Mia had gotten from, I guess, Diddy's archives, and that she put this together with the help of Diddy's archives. And as far as just kind of her contribution, in addition to putting the scrapbook together, was kind of highlighting pieces of this article, or these different articles, I should say, of just Diddy's accomplishment throughout the years, especially kind of at a pretty pivotal time from him, because if you think about the 90s, you think about Bad Boy, you think about just everything that happened during that time period. So unfortunately, it wasn't shown as an exhibit where we could see all the different articles, but what I could see kind of peeking near the jury box is that they were just a lot of different articles essentially about Diddy's accomplishments.
Fair line of cross-examination. It's fair line of cross-examination. It's expected that they would question her about this, about the social media post, because it's inconsistent, right, with what she's describing. However, from what we heard from Cassandra Ventura, what we heard from Dr. Dawn Hughes about the relationship between victims and abusers, there is another side of the story. And the prosecution would say it's another example of manipulation and control and trauma and the effects, which, by the way,
I would say over time, they developed that that type of behavior. God, I forgot it. David, if you're still here, you said it last stream. The type of like cope that you do when you're being abused, mentally abused, and you just feel like you start to, I don't know, enjoy it. You just, I don't know what it is, the psychological damage that it just develops over a trauma where you just feel like, okay, there's nothing I can do to change this. I might as well make the best of it. And you even start to develop, feelings for Puffy, and you say these things like, that you love him, and you start doing these really thoughtful things, and you just want to make the person happy because that they can make your life a living hell. So you're just doing anything to make them happy. Yeah, it's not good, man. It's like the trauma runs deep with a lot of these people that are coming forward, and yeah, it just seems that, I mean, I don't know, man. I think I said not last stream, but the stream before we were talking about this is that Cassie was a willing participant, and she had stated that she looked forward to the freak offs, and she was the one that organized a lot of them, and she was the one that was doing a lot of the shopping for it, and when she said that she wanted to do the last freak off, she wanted to do it for the rest of their lives and everything. It just seems like what they're claiming now, that that they were trapped, they were in this crazy situation where they just could not see a way out. Stockholm syndrome. Thank you so much. David, you saved me again. It just seems like that they could not see a way out of the whole thing, and there the people that were around Diddy and stuff, there was just nobody they could turn to get out, and they knew that if they did escape, that their lives would probably be on the line, because I'm pretty sure Diddy probably threatened them a bunch of times and stuff like that. If you were to go to the media or whatever like that, I can have you snuffed out and stuff like that. So sure, I'm sure they were probably just living in fear every day, while being in St. Bart's, or being out in just different countries every day and stuff like that, going down to Miami, going to Vegas, and doing all these other different things, all these different projects and stuff. And yeah, I mean, they probably felt like they had like two things that they had to really decide on. Do they want freedom and possibly a shot in the back of their head, or do they just kind of roll with it and just deal with the pain, but also deal with all of the benefits that come along with it? It's just, I don't know, man. It definitely, I can definitely see how someone would be, I guess, what's the word? I don't even want to say hypnotized, or, I mean, it's like, it's a mixture of like traumatized, but also like, they see that they would be leaving too much on the table, like they would be leaving a good life behind, if they just stick it out. I think that's another thing. They're like, if I just stick this out, I could come out on the other side and it would be like a good win for them or something. David said, do you think this could be a massive cash in for her? Hold on. There'll be endless interviews and Netflix series, etc. The money tree will be endless for her. That's a good point, man. I mean, I do think that since, especially for Cassie, I think that, Cassie was with Puff for 10 years, going through all that trauma and stuff like that. But then she finally broke free, and she got, she's married with this new guy, and she had it was Alex Fine. She has like children and stuff, and now she wants to basically go back and get this money. And yeah, there definitely could be like Netflix series that could come out of this, like her tell all. She could write a book about it. She could do a lot of things, really, if they wanted to do like a biopic on this whole story. And just, because it is, I mean, the way that they could, make it very extreme, but also, kind of grounded in reality. Sometimes, fact is stranger than fiction, man. There's a lot of stuff that went down that connects a lot of celebrities, a lot of high net worth individuals to Diddy. And the fact that a lot of this was being kept on the hush hush, because yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people involved, and I think there's a lot of people that are on the outside that are not gonna probably have themselves linked to it, or try to not have themselves linked to it, because they're like, look, I was part of I went to the parties, but I didn't, I wasn't organizing them. I didn't go in all the rooms. I just went into like some of the rooms. I did see an interview. You just reminded me, what was that one chick that dated Kanye West? She had what was her name? She has blonde hair, but it's like skin. She not. It was like she's really really short hair. Amber something. What's her name? She dated Kanye West. Amber something. I think that's her name. Amber Rose. That's her name. She said that she went to every Diddy party. And so I'm pretty sure that, I don't think she's going to be going on the stand or anything like that or going against Diddy because, I mean, she got to be part of a lot of this stuff. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was able to comment or be in like a series about Diddy and stuff like that. And she could like tell her side of the story just so she could get paid. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that, over time, statute of limitations, whatever you want to call it, after all that stuff is said and done, yeah, they can be like, they're like, yeah, man, I saw a lot of stuff go down. But we all kept quiet because we didn't, it was just kind of like a mum's the word kind of deal. I don't know, man. I just don't understand how like this whole culture of like Hollywood, hip hop, whatever you want to call it, where everybody's just kind of in cahoots with one another. There's a lot of crazy shit going down and everybody's just on the same level of like, okay, just don't say nothing, It just seems like you'd think there'd be like one or two people that would be like, no, like this is horrible. Like, why are we like, no, like I don't care if I get blackballed from the industry. Like this is something that, somebody needs to say something. And I just think that the people that are saying something, it is money motivated to bring it all back. I do think it is a massive cash in. So I think you're absolutely spot on about that.
I don't think we talked about talking about those factors. Didn't she mention?
Because if it wasn't about money, it would be like, look, I just want to sue this guy for $1. But I just want to get him off the streets. I want to get him, in the place where he needs to be because he's caused so much, trauma. And if he continues to be free, he's going to do it to the next generation. And it's just like, I just want this to stop. I don't want this trauma to continue. It wouldn't be about all this millions of dollars. It would just be about just putting him behind bars. But yeah, that's at least what I think. But, sexual assault cases are never about just, the principle. It's all about trying to get as much money out of the person, which, it just takes away the credibility of the whole thing. It's retracting consent. That's literally the first thing you think about when someone's like, yeah, I want to sue you for, a $500,000 or even more. And it's just like, wouldn't you... from the outside looking in, you'd be like, I would think you would just want to just get this guy off the streets. So, David came back. He says, would you say 10 years if Diddy was a broke cab driver? Hold on, let me move this a little bit. Would you have stayed 10 years if Diddy was a broke cab driver? No way. This whole thing stinks. Yeah, man. Absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like the money, the lifestyle, the job. You could say job security, but at the same time, it's like you're walking a very fine line. You could wake up dead. You're just on the wrong side of like Diddy's rage. He just happened to, I don't know, do too much coke or slather on too much LSD laced baby oil, and yeah, you just happen to be the one that stepped in the room and felt his all of his wrath. It just seems like there's a lot of God, I'm trying to think of the term risk versus reward, I guess you could say. It's like, do you risk it? Do you risk your life for another day of the lap of luxury, or do you possibly could die here? He could just choke you out. But then on the other side, it's like you don't have this life now. You're out of it now. You're out of the life. You're back into, your normal life. You are free. You might not be having the same type of money rolling in anymore. You're probably drowning in debt. Probably. You probably need to go get some therapy. Maybe it might be time to retract some consent and see if you can get some money out of this. So I can see both mindsets, but I still think the right thing to do would be to just get him off the streets, put him where he belongs, in jail. And, I'm sure he would still have fun in jail. Sad to say.
Something about being able to attend her grandmother's funeral.
So Brian Steele was asking under the cross, why didn't you leave this job? Why did you continue staying? You only left because Revolt Films was dissolving and that you were, in a way, terminated from your employment. And Mia was explaining that she felt like the family that she made working with Diddy, working with Puffy, was her family. There were points where she had missed very big kind of things in her life, such as her grandmother's funeral, such as just having friends outside of people who were in Diddy's orbit, in a way where she felt like, these were these 8 years of her life that she was just around these people every day. She knew how to predict Diddy's moods at this point. She was very close friends with Cassie during this time frame, and still is very close friends with Cassie. And she referred to even like security guards like D-Rock as her big brother. And so she said that, as far as just missing just these big things or not going to outside friends or outside family, she said that for the most part, for that 8-year period, Diddy and his entire camp and his staff were her whole world, and that she didn't really know what to do next. And that kind of went to the point a little bit of why maybe I think people don't leave, that they feel kind of that they have to kind of stick by him even in tough times, even when he's mean to them, even when he's violent to them. But it seems like really just kind of, we've heard this from other witnesses too, where it was like, they left when just something got so bad that they were done. But from Mia's perspective, and I think what the defense was also trying to do, is say that you didn't leave because you were traumatized. You left because Revolt Films was dissolving at the time and that your employment was terminated.
There it is. Whether you think, you stayed with them because, you didn't know a way out, when really, no, your job was ending, and now you're not going to be getting that steady paycheck anymore. You're not going to actually have that job with Diddy anymore. You're going to have to find another job that's probably not going to pay as much. That's probably not going to allow you to travel and have these crazy experiences and stuff like that. Your life is going to get a little bit more boring. Do people really want boring, or do they want to, it looks a lot like a cash out situation now, because it seems like, they dealt with all that trauma, and now the trauma's over. It's like they felt like they trauma bonded with everybody that was in that family of theirs. They all had like a little bit of a common ground, but now that they are getting cut out, it's like, I don't know, man. It's almost like releasing a caged animal, back into the wild, and they don't know how to assimilate anymore, And I mean, I don't know, man. I would be happy that I was free if I was any of those people.
Yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not a black and white case. There's a lot of gray here that the jury's going to have to sort through. I anticipate quite a long deliberation process, but we're not there yet. So what can we expect on Monday after the explosive testimony and cross-examination from today?
Well, unfortunately, everyone, the cross-examination isn't necessarily over. So on Monday, we're going to be right back at it again. Mia will still be on the stand, again, doing the cross-examination. Brian still didn't say how much longer he had to go as far as his cross, and then we can definitely expect a redirect too. But it seems like possibly for most of the morning that we'll see Mia on the witness stand. Now, as far as what's coming next, we will probably see more witnesses. It seems like the government is trying to get in at least 2 more witnesses, including a hotel employee. So that's kind of what we could expect come Monday and beginning of next week.
And you'll be there. Elizabeth Milner, great seeing you. Great reporting as always. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Jesse.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe.
So I guess what we can take from this is that you have yet another employee that is now an ex-employee that is coming forward saying that they had all of these issues with, while they were with working under Diddy, and now, but then the defense is just laid out all of their social media posts to kind of go against that, to show them that no, you were pretty happy, you were doing all this stuff, and you were saying that you loved him, you were congratulating him for all of his success, you made gifts for him, really thoughtful gifts, and it just seems like the credibility of oh no, but he assaulted me, but yeah, it just seems like the credibility is being overtaken by the defense. So I still want to follow this. I kind of want to see how it develops and stuff, but it just seems like Diddy's lawyers, he's got like 9 lawyers on deck. So they're doing their job as far as really showing the character of these witnesses here, these people that are testifying against him and their whole motives and stuff. And the fact that you got Cassie, who's an ex-employee, now you got Mia, who's an ex-employee. It's going to be more and more people that are you're going to really have to see what their motive is, if it's going to be about money or if it's going to be just about putting Diddy away because of the thing that that got him. Exotrail says the P thing was funny, not gonna lie. If you're saying the P thing, if from what I remember, I think it was Cassie. I think I don't know if it was Mia and Cassie, but I think it was like something about like fluids from I think it was Cassie actually that had like some pee in her mouth or something like that. I remember seeing that in a different interview, but I was just like, that's fucking gross, man. But it wasn't about like, I guess, grossing him out or anything like that. It was just about this whole power dynamic that Diddy has over people. And even I don't know if it was Mia. I think it was Mia actually. Mia had said that she had walked in on one of the rappers doing something with Diddy. I think Diddy was getting like a BJ from the guy, and they didn't stop. They just kept going. And she ended up walking back out, whatever. And then I guess Diddy like confronted her about it. And I was like, yeah, whatever you saw and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, she tried to like, act like, oh, it was, I didn't really want to say anything, whatever. But for what she had described it, she's like, yeah, I don't think Diddy is gay for doing that. I think it was more about a power thing. Like it was just about power. And but I'm like, no, it's two things could be true at the same time. Probably was a power thing, but it also was a gay thing as well. Let's go to the first thing that you guys suggested, the Tate brothers. Let's check it because I actually have that saved under my thing here. Let's go. Oh, actually, hold on. I have my watch later right here. Let's see. Oh wait, maybe it's not on here. Let's go to what was it? Tate brothers UK charge. I don't know what the video I saw. Charging, yeah, trafficking, other crimes in the UK. I don't know which video it was. 21 charges in the UK. I think this might be it. Let's see.
In other major news today, UK prosecutors.
Exo Charles came back. He says, being a degenerate every day makes you see more and more pleasure. He probably couldn't have a normal That's true. That's absolutely true, man. I mean, when you become as freaky as Diddy, man, it's just like just having sex with just one person probably isn't enough. You have to, I mean, he's one of those people now where like he can't get off by doing that. He has to like watch other people do it live. And then like there's just like this weird thing with bodily fluids that just like, I don't know, I can't wrap my brain around it. It's actually very, very disturbing. Um, but then at the same time, it's like, yeah, I just think like you can't go back to normal vanilla sex after that, dude. It's not possible, man. You've been going like this for so long. Um, I mean, baby oil is one thing, but baby oil laced with LSD, dude, that's a whole nother level, bro. That's a whole nother level. So, I mean, yeah, it's a. I mean, he's gonna have all that time in jail. When he gets convicted. And I don't think it's a matter of, you know, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when. Um, when he gets in jail, man, yeah, he's probably not gonna have all that baby oil. There's not gonna be any lube, I don't think. The soap, maybe, that's probably gonna be the only thing he can get. Oh man. He's gonna have to get some of that Sweeney soap, that simp soap. Oh man.
Have confirmed for the first time that they have authorized charges of rape and human trafficking against Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan. Between the two of them, they are accused of 21 offences, and we learnt from the CPS today that the charges were levelled against them last year as a result of arrest warrants executed by Bedfordshire Police. The Tate brothers, with millions of social media followers for their brand of toxic masculinity, are of course in Romania, facing an array of charges there that they deny. They are also dual UK-US citizens, and senior figures within the Trump administration helped them to fly to Florida in February, where they spent about a month before voluntarily returning to Romania. Joining me now live on the programme is James Bloodworth, a journalist and the author of Lost Boys, a personal journey through the manosphere. Mr. Bloodworth, thanks very much for being on the programme tonight. We obviously are not going to dwell on the specifics of the case that is being built against Tristan and Andrew Tate here in the UK. But I am interested to understand where the trajectory of this goes. They're facing charges in Romania. They're now facing charges in the UK. Is the UK going to have to wait for the Romanian process to finish before it stands any chance of them coming back to the UK to face trial here?
I thought the Romanian government wasn't able to produce any evidence, so that's why they pretty much had to drop all their charges. I didn't know that their charges were still going in Romania. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like they weren't able to produce evidence, at least from the judge's standpoint. So he was just like, "Yeah, you guys have taken all this time, and you still haven't been able to produce any evidence of whatever you've been claiming against them." So that's why they were able to move freely. But apparently, I guess that's not the case. Exo Charles says he's still gonna find plenty of black men, but no baby oil. Yeah. I mean, maybe in commissary he might be able to get some baby oil in commissary. I don't know though. Probably not. Maybe not. I mean, he is Diddy. Maybe he can probably make something happen. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do with that.
Good evening, and thank you for having me on. Yes, so what you've said is correct. The process will have to play out in Romania first before they then presumably they're extradited to the UK to face the charges here. So we don't know how long the thing in Romania has been going on for several years now. It seems likely it will conclude this year. It seems likely there will be the trial this year. But again, it's been going on. This has been going on since 2022. So we don't know. And then only after that, though, will they face the 21, have to kind of account for the 21 charges in the UK.
But how complicating a factor is it that they have American passports? And apparently a Trump administration that at levels close to President Trump seemed more than willing to assist them when they first left Romania and headed to Florida.
Yeah, so there are links between the Tate brothers and the Trump administration. So, I mean, the Tate brothers were repatriated for a while to the U.S. So they basically were allowed to go to the U.S. For I think it was a month, and now they've returned to Romania. And partly that seems to have been facilitated by Trump's special envoy, who was reported to have had a conversation with Russia's foreign minister at the Munich Security Conference of all places. So there does seem to be that facilitation. But then the Tate brothers also did go back to Romania. So I don't think it's unlikely they'll try and completely escape justice, especially as now there's a case ongoing in Romania and the UK as well. And I think the scale of the charges, I think they genuinely also believe that they're going to get off, that they're going to be found innocent for this in Romania. They seem, obviously there's the bluster, which is all part of the persona, but I actually think the fact that they did return to Romania, it would seem that they do believe that they're actually going to get off on the things they're accused of.
I'm interested in the bluster. From the work that you've done on your book, Lost Boys, A Personal Journey Through the Manosphere, do you think they relish the chance to go through these legal processes, that actually they're not afraid of these legal processes, particularly because it all helps to build the brand?
I mean, to an extent.
Yeah, plus, I believe when they were in jail, they were able to be in jail together, Tristan and Andrew. So they didn't split them up in any way. And I think that's kind of what got them through, the fact that they were together. And then, Andrew Tate also claims that, everybody that was, working in the jail kept telling him, "Oh, we know you don't belong here. We know you don't belong here. But I'm just, I'm the one who's locking the cell, or I'm the one that's serving your food. I'm the one that's, giving you your pillow and blanket and stuff like that." He's like, but everybody was all saying that, "Oh, you don't belong here. We know you don't belong here," and stuff. It's like, maybe he was just saying that, or maybe they truly believe that he did belong there. But it just seems like they're a lot more lenient over in Romania in terms of like their jail system. Like if they really wanted to punish them, they would separate them. And I think if you were to divide Andrew and Tristan, there would possibly be some type of it could be some type of thing that could happen, maybe Tristan flips or whatever, in order to not get killed in jail. Or it could be the other way around, who knows. But I think the fact that they were able to spend all that time together in jail, it did seem like they were kind of in a cell together, just with those two. It didn't seem like it seemed like it was just kind of like a vacation for them, and then when they got to be under house arrest, it's like, that was even more lenient. But I mean, it makes sense that they couldn't, that all of that happened because Romanian government couldn't produce the evidence for the claims that they had. So I mean, it's been years now at this point. It's like, these guys need to get their, the Romania government needs to either shit or get off the pot, or just hand it over to the UK, because they obviously have their 21 charges already levied. And, maybe it might be just a smart move to just let the UK have a crack at it.
I wouldn't say they relish the level it's got to now. I mean, because what they're having to do is they're having to keep up that persona, because that is the business model essentially. So a lot of these, so the Tates in particular, but a lot of the Manosphere influencers, there's very much the business model is built on this like telegenic kind of charisma and bombastic kind of persona,
stoicism, just remaining stoic through the whole thing, not breaking, just maintaining this like strong exterior that, no matter what happens, you're going to pull through, and you're going to have this resolve that nothing can be broken. And I mean, I don't know. I thought about it. If you were to switch Vitaly with Andrew and Tristan and have them in the Filipino prison, dude, I think they would be singing a completely different tune. So that's just what I think.
masculinity. presenting this idea of never being phased, of never kind of being weak or quote unquote unmanly or effeminate, and the way they perform in front of the cameras kind of they have to play up to that essentially. But you do kind of see, especially Tristan, you do kind of see sometimes when they don't think the cameras are rolling, or after a press conference, you do sometimes see Tristan especially looking what I would say was gaunt, and the way I would describe it as gaunt and worried. I don't think the actual core.
Prison in Your Mind 80, welcome to the stream. Is that your real background? No, it's not my real background, but I appreciate you coming to the stream, man, and asking me a question. No, it's I'm actually I'm living in a green screen. This is the Matrix, actually. This is the Matrix I've created for myself. It's very comfy. But yeah, welcome to the stream.
Court cases they relish. I think, you know, controversy they relish, but I'm not sure they'll relish when these cases actually come to court in Romania initially. I don't think they'll be relishing that, for instance. I think that's not what they bargained for.
And can I ask you just briefly one more question about their time in the United States? It seemed to me that there was a tension between whatever had happened at senior levels in Washington, D.C. and within the Trump administration to help them get to Florida, and then the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who looked at this situation and said, I don't want them in the Sunshine State. There's definitely tension within Republican circles about them.
Yes, there is. And funny, there is in the manosphere as well. So you also have kind of more conservative commentators. Jordan Peters.
Prison in Your Mind came back. He's like, oh, wow. I was like, you're rich at first. Well, you know, I'm very good at designing like a setup. So I you know, I'm pretty good about that. But yeah, sorry to disappoint you. Maybe one day I'll get there and I won't have to do a whole green screen or whatever. I can actually broadcast from my high rise at night while it's raining. But for the time being, we're gonna have to deal with this for right now.
Son, for example, who they may not object to some of the things that the Tates say, but they really find this their model of conservatism is really opposed to this kind of what they see as the sleaziness of people like the Tates and this worship of kind of money. And traditional conservatism, as embodied maybe by someone like Ron DeSantis, someone who I vehemently disagree with about a whole bunch of things, someone like that is still kind of repulsed at the kind of sleaziness of this kind of lifestyle the Tates present and stuff. It is kind of
Prison in Your Mind came back. He says, yeah, it looks good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. If you I don't know if you've seen my streams from before, man. It's been a little bit of an evolution, and yeah, we've come a long way, and we're going to continue to evolve. If you you can probably go back and see a Christmas stream. I did a Christmas stream where I had a Christmas tree, and instead of rain, it was snowing outside. And then I think around New Year's, I had fireworks going on the outside. That was pretty cool too. So yeah, a lot of effort to go into stuff that makes, you know, kind of just for the background. But I try to do things for people that pay attention. Let's just say that.
Anathema to someone like that. I find that very interesting, and that split goes right through, I think, the Trump administration. You do have these traditional conservatives, even evangelicals, a part of that coalition, but then you also have people who seem to worship money and crypto and want to present these, like the Tates present this very ostentatious, quite sleazy kind of lifestyle.
It's fascinating. James Bloodworth, thank you so much for being on the program tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, to go to speak to David about this whole thing, about the whole what I think is going to happen. I think that the Romanian government is going to continue to drag their knuckles on this whole Tate case. They're not going to be able to come up with anything. They're probably going to end up handling the whole case over to the UK. They're going to get extradited to the UK. UK is going to have their shot at it. The 21 charges that they're going to levy against the brothers are going to see. They're going to throw all of it at the wall, see what sticks. Probably have some witnesses come forward, maybe some paid actresses, whatever, to say that, oh, you know, he assaulted me here and all that stuff and left me bruises here, and I have pictures and stuff to prove it. we'll see. We'll see how that goes. If the UK fails, then I believe the US will probably have a chance to possibly do something. But the fact is, if the UK fails at convicting Andrew and Tristan, then yeah, they might just stay over in Europe, because they know if they go to the United States will just do that whole like lock you up, throw away the key, and you'll be in the slow process of the judicial system in the US, and they'll just do it that way. So it would be smart for Andrew and Tristan to just stay out of the US and not try to, not try to roll the dice with the government here, because it wouldn't turn out good for them. The next thing we're going to talk about, we got to talk about the thing that happened, the live stream with Myron, the Myron IRL, and I think it was the Palestinians. I think it was Palestinians, or it was the Jewish people that showed up. I'm not sure exactly. We're gonna have to look at it. Israelis. They're Israelis. Sorry. That's what the. Let's see. This one's about 25 minutes. I guess this one will be it. Yeah, this is it. Let's check it out.
I think if a group of people come into someone else's land and torture and burn, they have a right to defend themselves.
So killing 100,000 plus innocent people is defending yourself?
Listen,
the issue is that Israelis simply don't value Palestinian life.
One time, can you say something positive?
About what?
Zionism, Jews, Muslims, us as a people. This is awesome.
I wonder if they're going to show the red dot site that happens on Myron. Because, I mean, it did happen. I saw it on Reddit. So I'm wondering if they're going to show that at any point in this in this video. But I do remember, I think on X, Myron went on and he was talking about it. I think he was saying how it was, I guess, some kid or something. He dismissed the whole thing. So yeah, we can probably check that out too. Myron had balls to go to the synagogue. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I think he also has plans now to do the whole college campus run. Very similar to Charlie Kirk. He's going to be doing that now, it seems like. And I think it's going to be less Fresh and Fit. It's going to be more, I think Fresh is going to be taking over doing that and just running it into the ground. So it's definitely something that, I kind of foresaw this coming, that Myron was just going to delve more and more into this probing of, the whole JQ and political route that he's on, and Fresh is just going to stay in the podcast. He's going to stay in the podcast, and he's going to just run those numbers up with the bots and stuff, the Rumble bots. I don't know if you guys heard what I was talking about last time, but all Fresh has to do is get on his phone. I guess he messages somebody, whoever running the bots at Rumble, and you just see that ticker. It doesn't even go up naturally where it's like it's like a couple here, 3 or 4 here. It's literally just tipping up one every time, all the way up to like 3,000, all the way up to like 10,000. And I was just like, yeah, dude, this is just not. There's no way. There's no way. But yeah.
Yeah, this is just proves my point. Yep. This proves the stereotypes. This is just proving my point even more so. Freedom of speech. This is America. This is America. Freedom of speech. America. Hey, if you don't like it, go back to Tel Aviv.
How you doing?
Hey.
You said that we could get into international talk, right?
Sure.
So I've listened to your talk about Israel and Zionism and whatnot, but I want to take a different angle.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You're Yemeni background, right?
No, my family's from Sudan.
From Sudan?
Yeah.
Okay. Question is, what do you think about the Houthis looking outside in and how they're affecting the war? Because I've listened to your stance on Israel.
Yeah.
And Zionism.
Sure.
So I
how
get
do you
that.
want me
We don't need to get into that, but
Oh, he might give it to you anyway, even if you don't want to get into that. He might bring it back around, and you might have to hear it anyway, because that's just what Myron does. He likes to push those buttons.
How they're acting in response to it, being a proxy of Iran and doing what they're doing and affecting world trade and XYZ. Do you agree or disagree with what's happening?
Do I agree or disagree with what they're doing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it matters if I agree or disagree, but I understand.
No, but I want to hear you have like an opinion on a lot of different matters. So what's your opinion on that?
My thing is I simply understand why they're doing what they're doing, right?
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, can you elaborate?
On why they're doing what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're trying to create an enormous amount of pressure on Israel economically.
But it's not working, right?
Well, it was working for a long time. That's why we had to intervene. It was working, yes.
It's not working.
When they were boarding the ships and they were sending the rockets in.
Yeah, but your bond.
This guy is going to get shut down by Meyer, and he's going to be like, dude, are you going to ask the question? Because you're going to keep talking while you ask me a question. I can already see this is going to happen. I haven't even seen this. I've just seen like little bits on Reddit. I have not sat down and watched it. So this is like the first time I've seen this, but I can already foretell that this guy's going to be like, dude, stop cutting me off. Like, stop talking while you ask me a question. It's going to happen.
Bombing ships that are affecting trade.
They weren't bombing ships.
Attacking ships. They're sending missiles to ships that are going through their ports.
They were pirating ships and obviously affecting international trade. But that was creating quite a bit of problems for Israel financially. They were boarding ships that had financial interests with
for the world.
I'm sorry?
It's for the world.
Of course, but it hurt Israel the most.
How
That's
so?
why it's to shut down one of their ports, actually, as a matter of fact.
How so?
It literally hurt.
How did
Israel's
it,
not
how
doing
did it
that
hurt
great
Israel the
economically
most?
right now.
No, you said any topic goes. You said Israel goes.
Yeah.
So how did it affect
they're not
Israel?
they're not doing well economically right now.
Who's not?
Israel.
It's not because of the Houthis. It's because.
Well, that's a component.
It's because their workers had to go to reserve service and other things like that.
Let me.
Obviously,
do you want me to?
Tourism is down because people are scared to go there.
For sure. So their economy is hurting.
Right.
That
but
is precisely why they're doing what they're doing. I'm not here to tell you that it's right or wrong. I'm just simply telling you what they're doing.
Your opinion, though, because you have an opinion on a lot of things.
This is a fact.
You have opinion on women. You have opinion on a lot of things, right? So what's your opinion in there?
Again,
you have opinion on Zionists. You have opinion on Jews. You have opinion
Israel's
on Netanyahu.
problematic country.
Okay, so what's your opinion on the Houthis?
Again, I just told you.
Do you agree or disagree?
I understand.
Do you agree or disagree with what they're doing?
I understand.
Don't be
I don't have
political
to agree
about
or disagree.
Really?
That's really irrelevant. I understand.
You understand?
I understand, yes.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Okay, do you actually have a position or you just wanted to get my...
On the matter?
Yeah.
I have a position, yeah.
Yeah, what's your position then?
I think if a group of people come into someone else's land and torture and burn, they have a right to defend themselves.
Okay.
I also understand the other side.
So killing 100,000 plus innocent people is defending yourself?
Listen, when World War II happened, there was a lot of innocent deaths also, so we can't really take that angle. I agree there's innocent deaths. In war, there's innocent deaths. But the easy way, in my opinion, to end it, now that America's involved and you have the world looking at it, is to return the hostages first. And then you open dialect.
Cares?
Then you open dialect.
Okay, do you think
that's my
cares?
opinion.
Okay, so here's the thing. Number one, a war is fought between two capable militaries, okay?
Really?
The IDF,
really?
The IDF is a military, a formalized military that gets supported by us.
All right.
Okay. And they're killing...
Hamas is supported by Iran. They had like endless amount of rockets, endless amount of ammunition.
They're a ragtag militia.
That can go in one day and kill over 1,000 people. That's a lot of deaths.
Well, here's the thing. So let's talk facts, right?
Sure.
Because you're putting a lot of Israeli propaganda out there. So let's
I'm not speaking propaganda.
Let's go through this.
I just wanted your opinion on the Houthis.
No,
you want to turn it to
let's go through this.
Sure.
So, do you think Netanyahu actually wants the hostages back? Does he care?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
But there are political motives. I agree with you. But
sure.
Yeah, he wants the hostages back.
Are you aware of the fact that on October 10th, a deal was put in place to get all the hostages back in return for them not invading Gaza?
If you can't put the deal in front of me so we can look at it together, then it doesn't matter. No. It's irrelevant.
See, here's the thing. And
because there's been over 300 deals that have been put in front of both parties.
I'm telling you, on or about October 10th, this was reported by Israeli media, Haaretz.
Okay.
Okay. And this is what a lot of Israelis don't know and Zionists don't know. There was a deal put. Yeah, okay. So a deal was put forward saying, hey, look, we will go ahead and give all the hostages back in exchange that you do not blow up and attack and invade Gaza. And what did Netanyahu do? He refused. Now, here's the other thing.
Bro.
You mentioned that they killed, what, 2,000? Or 1,300? No, this is true. It's true.
Whatever the number.
You want to know how I know it's true? No. Here's the other thing, too. Here's the reason why. That's true. That comes from Israeli media. That comes from Israeli media, by the way. Your own country put it out. That comes from your own media. Now, here's the other thing as well that's interesting.
Yeah.
You said that thousands were killed, right?
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware that the Hannibal Directive was activated on that day?
What's the Hannibal Directive?
Sure. I'd be happy to explain.
Sure.
The Hannibal Directive is a directive where Israeli military basically kills their own civilians to ensure... Hold on. See, now they don't like the facts. They don't like the facts.
Yeah, so pull it up.
They don't like the
Pull
facts.
it up.
Okay.
Pull it up.
Hold on. I'll pull it up.
Pull it up.
I'll pull it up.
Pull it up.
Wait, but hold on a second. Documentation beats conversation.
Pull it up.
Anybody can say shit. Facts versus theory.
Pull it up, yeah.
Facts. Sit down, listen. Sit down, let's all sit down, have documents, proven documents with information, and then you can discuss and debate. He said, she said, my great grandma said it's all opinions. You can shove it up someone's ass.
Who speaks Hebrew here?
Convert it, ChatGPT. You can translate it.
No. I'm going to play it.
It takes a millisecond.
I'm going to play it in your language for you.
I don't speak Hebrew. I don't understand Hebrew. Why is it my language just because I like Israel? It's not my language.
I have a video right
I'm
here.
American.
I have a video
There's
right here.
American hostages there.
See,
And
that's
you're
the
American
problem.
and you're sitting here and
That's
you're
the
okay with
problem.
it. It's crazy.
So here's it. No. I never said I was okay with it. I'm saying.
Should the hostages be released?
Yes. Here's the thing.
Should the hostages,
here's the difference.
Should the hostages be released?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we agree. Finally, we can agree. That's
No, but here's the problem, right? The issue is that Israelis simply don't value Palestinian life.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Because you guys don't.
Jews
because
and
you guys have killed
Palestinians
100,000
live in
plus. 100,000 plus.
There's Jewish
We know
Palestinians.
50,000 that have been identified. Then we know that there's a bunch in the rubble that are missing.
That's not true.
Now
bro.
here's the other thing as well.
And
Let's go back to the Hannibal
no
Directive.
army will go there
Let's
and
go
drop
back.
leaflets saying, "Hey,
We're
about to come here,"
and they bombed it
and
anyway.
drop a bomb.
And they bomb it
They should
anyway.
leave.
Where
So
do
anyway.
you get the numbers that 100,000 plus were killed?
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
Even if 100,000 people were killed. Hold on. Even if 100, let's
We
agree.
know.
This is starting to lose. They're starting to lose a little bit of order here. They should take turns here. This is going to be really easy for Myron to just be like, okay, one at a time. You know, these guys they're getting emotional.
We
Hold on a
have
second. Let's have a conversation.
literally data.
If 100,000
And this is funny because they're all are jumbling. Now they're going crazy. Now look, you can see.
100,000
Shut it down.
No,
Shut it down.
Don't shut it down.
So
This is good.
here's the
This is
thing.
good. This is amazing.
Let me
Listen.
finish my point.
Go ahead, finish.
Right? Because it's interesting that I mentioned the Hannibal Directive. Nobody knew what
Yeah,
it
but
was.
what is it? Pull it up.
I just explained it to you.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
It is.
Pull it up.
I have the video right here.
Play it. Play it. Play it.
Okay,
English.
do you know
English.
who Yoav
in
Galan
English.
is? Do you know who Yoav Galan is?
Play it in English.
Do you know who Yoav Galan is?
Everyone here speaks English.
Okay, but the problem is that the interview was done in Hebrew in Israel.
So translate it. Or try to translate it
There's
one.
captions right here. You want to look at the video?
Perfect.
Here. Come look at it yourself. Come look at it yourself.
What is the purpose of the video so we understand? So I understand what the video's about.
So they interviewed him. See, this is the problem. You guys don't even know. You don't even know. You're here arguing a point that you don't even know. You don't know what the Hannibal Directive is.
I asked you.
Yeah.
I asked you what it is.
I just explained it. I'm telling you, it's when they kill their own civilians to evade them being captured by Palestinian militia groups, to evade hostage negotiations so that they don't have to release 1,000 Palestinians who went Israeli like they did with Elad Lot. Now, with that said, Yoav Gallant, your defense minister, okay, you're basically your secretary of defense, right? Equivalent. He admitted on an interview that the Hannibal Directive was activated on October 7th and it should have been activated in other areas. That is why Apache helicopters killed a bunch of the concert goers. That's why we know that they shot tanks into the kibbutzes. They shot tank rounds.
Okay, so here it says the Hannibal
Let me
Directive.
finish.
The Hannibal Directive, also translated as Hannibal Procedure or Hannibal Protocol, is the name of a controversial procedure used by the IDF to prevent the capture of Israeli soldiers by enemy forces. What's wrong with that? Who wants their soldiers captured?
No.
That's what it says here.
They killed civilians as well, is my point.
They don't
On
kill-
October
it-
7th, they
it-
killed civilians.
It says they only kill soldiers.
No.
No, to
They
prevent-
kill
to
civilians
prevent
as well.
soldiers.
And also,
To
with that
prevent
said,
soldiers from being captured.
No. They killed civilians. And also keep in mind that there's mandatory military service in Israel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
effectively, they shoot at anyone
but
that's going to be captured.
on a
now
day-
again,
I got a question for you.
now
You
with
made
that said-
Hannibal Schmannibal.
Okay, this guy.
You can say
Just
something.
wait in line. So
why,
anyway,
why,
hold on.
why are Jews
hold on.
and,
hold on.
and
hold on.
Palestinians and Arabs all
Let's
fighting
stick-
for a small piece of land?
Let's stick to the
The
topic
Arabs
at
have
hand.
so much land, brother.
Let's stick to land. Let's stick to the conversation because first, right?
Like,
First,
why
you made
fight
the
for a small
accusation
piece of land?
saying,
Why fuck with
bro,
the
bro,
Jews?
let him
Wait,
be on the
wait,
mic, okay?
wait. So-
you guys got to control yourselves.
Okay,
one person on
I'm
the
just
mic at a
standing here.
time. So again, you made the claim
That.
a bunch of hostages were kidnapped, which is true.
Yeah.
And you made the claim that they just need to bring the hostages back. And I told you on or about October 10th.
Said release the hostages.
Yes,
yeah.
agreed.
It's a good
They were
start
willing to release the
communication.
hostages, give them all back in return in exchange for them not invading Gaza and bombing Gaza.
I don't believe that. I don't
then-
believe that.
Hold on. Let me finish my point.
Yeah,
Let me
go-
finish my
go
point.
ahead.
Then that's fine. You can say what you want to say.
No, but you.
That's fine.
Pull it up.
So anyway, with that said,
pull it up.
With that said, right? Great.
Pull it
anyway,
up.
So with that said, right? The Hannibal Directive was activated on that day. And I told you what the Hannibal Directive is.
Who wants any of their soldiers to be captured?
But the point is, the reason why I made
there's
that
going to be
argument,
innocent lives on both
let me
sides.
tell you
Who
why I
wants
made
their
that
soldiers to be
argument.
captured?
Because you made the argument saying they killed 1,000+ Israelis, and I'm saying, well, the IDF
I
killed a
said
lot of Israelis.
I said they killed.
And then on top
wait,
of that,
wait.
And then on top of that,
wait. I said they killed
hold on,
1,000 plus civilians. They weren't all Israelis.
No.
There was people from Thailand that were killed.
Of course.
Muslims
Yes,
that were
I understand.
killed.
I understand.
Jews that, no, so keep
I understand.
it.
But
Americans
again,
that were killed.
I understand
They
that, but the point is that
killed.
people were being killed
indiscriminately.
People were being killed
indiscriminately
by both the IDF
Bro,
and Hamas.
If you go
both
look,
of them.
If you go look at
both
Gaza,
of them.
You have waterfront land.
Both of them were
They're
being
on
killed.
Beaches.
Okay.
They have 5-star hotels.
That's not the argument.
No one wants to look at that.
That's not the argument.
On October
Again.
On October 6th.
See, this is great.
They were all chilling.
This is great.
On October 6th, they were all chilling, living their lives. There was no famine, nothing.
Wait in line.
Yeah, get in line.
Wait in line, buddy.
I got this.
Wait in line. You're not a
6th,
mic.
Everything was fine. People had visas to go in and out of Israel to work. Things were fine.
Yep.
What happened? Yasser Arafat, when he died, left his wife with over $1 billion. The leaders of Hamas, $12 billion, who are now killed, all of them. What happens? When there's war, they get richer. The people of Gaza get poorer. And then the Jews look bad on the world stage. That's all that happens.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Humanitarian goes to the top.
See,
and the civilians suffer. I agree they're
we
suffering.
were talking about October 7th, and you just
I
completely
agree that
deflected.
they're suffering. Yeah,
Cabos, he said that guy in the blue was ready to jump my dude. He's seriously, he's about to like take off his flip flops and just hop all over that table. I mean, it could be like somebody's dead, man. He's just like walking around, man. But yeah, he's ready to scrap, dude. I don't know if Myron is packing any heat. You know, it would probably be smart too, but I don't know. You know, I think it would probably be smart to probably have a piece on you or something like that, just in case. Because yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys here, man. They could have just bum rushed the table if they wanted to.
Because when you go and say 1,000 Israelis got killed, that's not true. It was 1,000.
Okay, let's say people got killed.
Yeah,
The point I'm trying to
Muslims
make
died,
is,
bro.
Yeah,
You're Muslim.
but here's the thing.
Are you Muslim?
Hamas.
Are you Muslim?
That's irrelevant to the conversation.
Muslim, I'm Jewish.
That's irrelevant to the
Jews
conversation.
died. Muslims died.
Yes.
Christians died.
Yes. And
Americans
here's the thing.
died.
Here's the thing.
People died.
That's why
People
I'm critical
died.
of Israel.
People
okay.
died.
Now with that said, now here's
People
the
died.
thing.
Should
now, like when I
Hamas
said-
surrender? Yes or no?
Here's the thing.
Should Hamas surrender?
He's not.
No.
He's not gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say he's not gonna give you a direct answer, but he did.
Now here's the thing. Because here's.
So you also agree that they're freedom fighters?
No. Again,
They're
you
labeled-
are taking away.
They're labeled a terrorist organization.
Let me finish saying what I'm
and
saying.
They shouldn't surrender.
Let me finish
and
saying
you're
what
an
I'm
American
saying. Let me
citizen.
finish what I'm saying.
You should be ashamed of
You're
yourself.
see, you're just interrupting because
Okay,
you
go
don't
ahead,
want to
go
have.
ahead, go
You
ahead.
brought up October 7th.
They're terrorists.
You brought up October 7th,
Okay.
and I was talking
You
to you
brought it
about.
up. I brought up the Houthis.
No, you mentioned no,
You
because
decided
then you
to
said,
talk
well,
about October 7th.
no. You brought it up, and then I'm just
You
responding
asked
to
my
you.
stance.
Yes, and then you
I asked
talked
you
about
about the
October
Houthis.
7th. But here's the problem.
Completely different.
You guys make it as if it started on October 7th, and it never did. It started way before that, and the Zionist propaganda.
Yeah,
always goes off of October 7th, and on October 7th,
It started in 1949 when we got a
it started
state.
before that.
When we got a
It
Jewish
started
state.
before that. It started before that.
Okay.
It started before that. It started before that. You guys were.
Oh, there it is. I was reading your comment, David. David came back. He says, well, Myron getting some real pressure here, but think about it, Camp. How Fresh would do here. Dude, Fresh would just fucking shut down, bro. He wouldn't be able to handle any of this. Like, the fact that there's no women here asking any questions or whatever, or even sitting down, yeah, he would be completely a fish out of water. But yeah, let's scroll back just like a couple seconds. There was the red laser pointer I was talking about. It showed up. Go about 10 seconds.
October 7th, and on October 7th.
It started in 1949 when we got a state.
It started before that.
When we got a
It
Jewish
started
state.
before that.
Okay.
It started before that.
Okay.
It started before that. It started before that.
There it is. Oh man, somebody's trying to snipe him out, dude.
You guys were killing people. Israel was founded upon terrorism.
There's killing.
Israel was founded upon terrorism.
Can you agree there's killing on both sides?
Again, of course there is. Of course there is. But here's the difference.
That's a fact of life.
I value both. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, like I was saying, this guy just name calling.
The
Anyway,
Jews corrupted their own
no,
holy
him,
books.
the
You
other
know,
guy over there, the old guy. So the point I'm trying to make is, I talked about October 7th, and I'm telling you that the died on that day were not just killed by Hamas.
Killed all
That's
Native
my
Americans.
point.
Are we talking about?
Okay.
You're talking
Bro,
about Native
bro.
Americans.
Look, bro, I'm
You're
telling you.
talking about settlers.
I'm telling.
The Jewish people came.
Yeah, settlements that are illegal.
The Jewish
Settlements
people
that are
came,
illegal.
They built Tel Aviv into what it is today, and all of a sudden they want it back. Like, bro, come on.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying here.
The British mandate had a two-state solution, no?
Are you talking about the Balfour Declaration?
Yeah, after that. The British mandate had a two-state solution. There was going to be an Arab state and there was going to be a Jewish state. Right after that, all the Arabs invaded. That's something that you don't like to talk about. Let's be honest.
Well, it
here.
wasn't your land to have in the first place.
It was Britain's land.
It wasn't. Ben who?
Before that, it was the Turkish
land.
land.
It wasn't your land to have in the
That's
first
what it
place.
is.
It wasn't your
England
land to have in the
conquered it,
first
and
place.
They gave it to half to the Arabs.
It wasn't
They
your
chopped
land
it
to
up,
have in the
bro.
first place.
They chopped it up.
It
And
wasn't.
then
Look at this guy. He's mad. Yeah, and you're pissed off.
They
Look at you,
chopped it
triggered
up.
because you don't like the
Listen,
facts.
They chopped it up.
Yeah,
they chopped
well,
it
it's
up.
kinda
We
hot
had a
out here.
deal. They
It's
chopped
kinda
it
hot
up.
out
We had
here.
a deal, and all
Meanwhile,
the
you
Arabs
guys are
came
being
in and destroyed
emotional.
it. I'm not being
Again,
emotional. I'm
no,
telling you
I was
what's
talking
up.
to this guy.
I'm
Like
being
I said
emotional.
before.
There was a two-state solution. There was.
Here's the
Given by England, half to the Jewish state, half to an Arab state.
Again.
Immediately.
Again.
Right after the Holocaust.
It wasn't
and you're gonna
theirs.
be like, oh, he's bringing up the Holocaust. It was right after the Holocaust. We didn't have any sort of military institution behind us.
Really?
We had the Haganah, the Irgun. It was nothing. It was underground.
What are the Haganah and Irgun?
Okay, listen.
And the Leahy gang. What are they?
They were fighting for a Jewish state.
They're terrorist organizations. They're terrorist organizations, and you know it.
They weren't
Israel was created by terrorist organizations.
No, it was created because the British. No, listen.
It's created
you need
through.
to read your
You
facts.
killed the British.
No, the British gave it over, and the
Yes.
British killed us, and Muslims killed the
The King
terrorists.
David Hotel?
And
The King
Muslims
David
killed the-
Hotel? You guys don't know your history. That's
I
the
do
funny
know my
part.
history. I don't think
Zionists
you
don't
know
know
your
their
history.
history. They don't know their history.
The
This is
Jews
comical.
literally corrupted their
You
own holy
killed the
books. You
British.
can't trust them.
No, this is live. This is live. You just.
You're a fucking clown, dude.
Yeah, and this guy's angry too. Yo, look at the Zionist tears. They don't like the truth. They don't like the fact that your country was made on terrorism. They don't like the fact
I'm
that
gonna
you
tell
killed
you the
100
truth.
innocent
This is
people
the truth.
in the King David
Whenever you're
Hotel.
ready.
You
Hold
don't
on,
like the
hold on.
fact that
This is the
your
truth.
country.
Yeah, this is kind of a free for all, guys. Like from what I'm understanding, like yeah, Myron, good on him for not like backing down. But this is kind of a free for all. It's this is very messy. Like there needs to be a little bit more organization, at least on the people asking questions.
Your country was
Whenever
created
you're
through
ready. Go ahead,
terrorism. The very terrorism that you guys denounced today was created by Haganah, Leahy, and the Stern Gang. And on top of that, you guys stole our weapons to do it. You stole our nuclear
understand.
technology.
Are you ready?
killed our president.
You
You
ready?
guys,
Okay, hold on.
You
I
guys
gotta tell
attacked
you
our
this.
U.S. ship. It was given
It-
comical. Comical.
listen.
Comical.
You
That's why
ready?
JFK did not want nuclear proliferation. See?
Okay.
No, you guys.
I understand your perspective.
You guys.
You wanna hear something?
See, here's the reality. This is what I love.
Hold on, let it talk.
This is what I love, right? Zionists come here. Zionists come in here and argue with me and say, "Oh, well, you know, on this day, such and such
Hold on,
happened."
1 second.
Okay, what's the
I'm
animal
gonna leave in a
directive?
second.
They don't know. They don't know that a bunch of Israelis and a bunch of innocent people
Are
were
we
killed
gonna
by
have
the
a
IDF.
conversation?
Then on top of
Okay,
that,
you ready?
they don't know how
Okay.
their country was made. Then they don't know that the British. You killed the British in the King David Hotel. You guys assassinated a bunch of British people. Then on top of that, the state of Israel raided through 3 main terrorist organizations that are now rebranded into the IDF that we know now. Now, with that said, the UN. No, I know about
That's
it. The
fine,
Balfour
that's fine. Keep
Declaration,
going.
and it was read to the Rothschilds. You don't even know the name of it.
Listen.
1917, the
Myron.
Balfour Declaration. You don't know. And you
Myron.
What were you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
Can
You
I
don't know
say
what you're
something?
talking
Can you
about.
wait for a second?
You're just sitting here. You don't know what you're talking about at all.
David said Myron is triggered at this point and is on autopilot. Bro, he really is, man. Like I've already said this before that Myron speaks in talking points. So all of his research is all just repeated. So he's just going off of whatever he's read, whatever he's researched and stuff. Whether he's actually been there on the ground to see this stuff for himself or not, I would say the majority of this is just research that he's done, spewing it as his own, and anybody that disagrees is wrong. That's just how it is with Myron. He will railroad a point, and anybody that disagrees can just get talked over. That's all it is.
This is
Again, you Zionists don't understand your own history of your own country.
We can argue about the past.
You haven't do it. No.
Let's
You're
Myron,
Israel first.
Myron.
You're Israel first. You're Israel first.
Myron.
And quite frankly, Israel is a parasitic country.
Okay.
It's a parasitic
ready?
country We should not be giving you guys aid anymore. You guys are making us look terrible. We give you billions of dollars of aid that you don't got to pay back. You guys will not exist without American aid.
Perfect.
You guys, quite frankly, were built on terrorism, and it's an evil country. This is why we have to run cover for you guys. We have to run cover for you guys at the UN. The entire international world condemns you.
Hello.
You guys are running illegal settlements. You guys are running illegal settlements. You kill innocent kids every day.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, this is literally a debate tactic that Myron does. He just keeps talking. Okay, as long as you keep talking, the other person cannot get their point out, and it appears that he has won the entire debate. But you can't win a debate like that. You know, you have to let the other person provide a counter argument. But if there's no counter argument, then there's no argument, and it's just not. That's not how you win.
Kill innocent kids every single day. Wait. Actually, they went and did a study.
Yo,
and
Myron, wait.
That was a lie.
Hey, you have like 200.
7 of you to even formulate an argument.
I'm gonna tell you
the
what
inbreeding is real.
Myron, listen. There is only one truth. Myron, there's only one truth. Whenever you're ready.
Say it. All right,
Whenever you're ready to listen, there's only one truth. No matter how much you can hate the Jews.
I don't hate the Jews.
Hold on.
See, I love that.
Hold on. I didn't finish my fucking sentence.
I hate the Jews.
You can. I didn't say you are. You can hate the Jews. You can like the Jews. You can hate Zionists. You can love Zionists. You can hate Israel. You can love Israel. At the end of the day, you'll not kill any Jews. You're not going to kill the ideology of Judaism, and you're not going to kill the ideology of Zionists. Guess what? Israel will stand in the future. Period. You can't fuck with that. That's it. That's the fucking truth. You cannot kill that. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, us Jews are going to prevail and stick together. And this guy can think whatever he wants.
Islam's the truth, though. That's fine.
You're not America first. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing
and we will
at all.
Continue
you guys can
to grow.
succeed
Yeah,
in
America
this life.
first,
We'll succeed in the
America
next
only.
life.
Fuck Israel. Anyway.
Yo, can you?
Yeah.
Yo,
Fuck
you
Israel.
All right. On the same topic.
Let's go.
You
let's
have
go to
200.
The next person.
You have.
Let's go to.
Wait.
The next person.
Yo, Myron.
Look,
you have 200 people here, right?
So here's the thing.
You have 200 plus people here.
Yeah.
Can you maybe
guys,
go off script once?
Look.
And say something positive?
What was I gonna say?
Can you maybe go off script once and say something positive that brings us together instead of name calling and saying Zionists?
Oh, you guys have been doing a name calling.
Jews that. All right, guys, chill for a second. You've had your platform, right? One time, can you say something positive?
Coke Benny came back. He says Myron won, just like that little person won in a fight against Cartman on that episode of South Park. The little person. Are we talking about Timmy? Who is the little person that won against Cartman? I don't know if I saw that episode. I've seen a lot of South Park, but I don't know if I've seen that episode. Just like that little person won the fight against Cartman. I don't know if the only fight that I know on South Park was the Timmy versus Jimmy fight, which was pretty fucking awesome. Coke Benny, you might need to elaborate for me.
About what?
Zionism, Jews, Muslims, us as a people. Can you say something? Women deserve less. Can you say something positive?
Israel's a parasitic state, and we need to stop supporting it.
All right, bro.
That's not positive. What are you doing, man? Oh, man. I mean, I would have accepted, well, there's some good people and bad people on both sides, you know? That would have been fine, you know? Or there's, I don't know, man. I think Myron just doesn't have it in him to really concede an argument or an offer any type of concession. Like, he's just always going to have his point, and like his point is like the only point. And unfortunately, you'll never get anywhere. It's like talking to a brick wall.
That's what we need to do. They're killing innocent people, and they're dragging our name in the mud alongside it. No more aid to Israel.
Why don't you go
no
live
more
there?
aid.
If you love Hamas
no more
so much,
aid.
why don't you go live
no,
there and fight for them?
I'm saying we need to stop supporting Israel. That's what I'm saying. We need to stop
Why?
giving you guys aid.
Why should we stop
Because you guys are
supporting them?
dragging our name in the mud. Now, with that said, though,
Kawa says he's talking about the side character named Mr. Nelson. I'm gonna have to research that because I don't think I've seen that episode where he fought Cartman. I might have to check that one out.
look, we gotta move on. We gotta move on.
You
guys,
One thing is that you said
and
you
your
agree
name
with
is
Hamas,
Israel.
and
Fantastic.
they're a terrorist organization.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't want our country being run by a bunch of Zionists that want to go ahead and continue a genocide on innocent people. You're an embarrassment. Okay, who's up next?
Physical world shit is all bullshit. At the end of the day, this whole world is run by spirituality.
Yeah. We gotta cut it. We gotta cut it. Go. Next person.
Spirituality. Listen.
In the stream.
At the end of the day, we live in a spiritual world.
We gotta switch the topic, guys, so we keep the stream going.
Cook Manufacturer says, no, that episode when Cartman was making fun of the midget, so the midget gets mad and challenged Cartman to a fight, which Cartman was winning, by the way, but the moment Cartman's back is turned, the midget attacks him from behind. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I saw that one, dude. Was that like one of the newer episodes? Because I've seen like probably like the first, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 seasons of South Park, but I haven't seen anything new, dude. So I have to do some catching up.
We got to switch the topic so that we can. We got to switch the topic. We got to switch the topic.
How convenient, man. You want to switch the topic when it's getting good, man. It's like, this is why if you're going to debate Myron, you need to have your points prepared, and you can't go off of like anything emotional. You can't just free ball it, especially in this type of topic. You have to really have your point. And we all know right now that you can't ask Myron questions that are going to be that have direct answers, because he's going to dance around it. And that's one thing that I've noticed. So the way that you have to ask it, the questions you have to ask him, it has to have facts that are already built in, that are well known, so that he has to address it without, saying something else, saying like, oh, let's, he'll say like, do you agree with Hamas? And it'll be like, he's like, I understand it. It's like, that doesn't. So you can understand it in both ways, whether it's wrong or it's right. It doesn't answer the question. Cook Base is pretty old. Okay. I might just have to research it, man. Like I said, it's been a couple years since I've seen South Park, and I used to own a couple of seasons on Blu-ray a long time ago. Lost them in the move, unfortunately, but yeah.
We got to switch the topic, guys.
Why?
Look, Cop is telling y'all, you know what I mean? We got peace here. People are getting animated.
We want peace.
Okay,
we want
buddy.
Peace.
Sure.
We want peace.
Sure. So you guys got to go. 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 What? You guys got to go. Like I said, we're running our stream. I don't know. You guys can stand there, but I'm saying like we're going to move on to the topic. No, you can stay. I'm saying that we got to move the topic. We got to move the topic. I mean, Miami PD, look, they're here. Yeah. Can we just like, we're going to switch topics. We're going to switch topics. All right, we got to switch topics, guys. We got to switch topics. Cop is here. He's saying switch topic. So let's move we got to switch topics.
This guy is appropriately dressed for the conversation.
Yeah, we got to switch topics. We got to switch topics, guys. Sorry.
Hey, if you're so fucking smart, what is the U.S. currency at the dollar right now?
You got this? Like, yeah, it's crazy. Pierre. Yeah.
We need to tell this guy right here with the little hat that he needs to get behind the mic. He's standing like off in front of it. I don't know what he's doing.
This is crazy.
Okay, so this looks like a bout between Mo. I think Mo could. You think Mo could take this guy? I don't know. He's got like a good probably about like a 3 or 4 inches on him in terms of like a height differential, but they might be about the same weight.
Listen, you're doing it in front of a fucking synagogue. That wasn't the smartest idea, no? Maybe go in front of a mosque, do it somewhere else, but in front of a synagogue, that's fucking crazy. On a fucking.
No, it was on purpose. It was all by design.
The truth is the truth, regardless of where I am.
Bro, that's wild.
Truth is the truth.
That's not gonna happen.
And you know, this is crazy because.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Shut it down. This is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. This is awesome. This is crazy.
I wonder what the sign says on the front of the table. Does it say women deserve less, or does it say something else? I'm interested.
You guys just make yourselves look worse. This doesn't help the cause at all. It just proves that you guys can't have discussion. This is like, yeah, this is just proves my point.
The guy up front, the short guy, this guy right here. Hold on. It looks like a Ben Shapiro, like a runt Ben Shapiro right here.
Yep. This is
It looks just like him.
Stereotypes. This proves the stereotypes. Man, this is crazy. See? Come in, start a problem, can't even have a discussion. Proves all the stereotypes right. Well, here's the thing, right? You guys can't even have a civil discussion. You guys can't even not. You're yelling, being emotional. This is just proving my point even more so. I'm sitting here chilling. You guys are yelling and heckling. This is ridiculous. Can't even be adults. Can't even be adults. You gotta yell and scream and act crazy and everything, and this guy's here now. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just wild. Using slurs and all that other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so...
Mini Ben. Yeah. Dude, he looks just like Ben Shapiro, bro.
This is very, yeah. See, it's wild because now we can't, look, you say pack your shit. Look at this. Did you say this is a public sidewalk? Who are you? Who are you? What are you? What? Freedom of speech. This is America. This is America. Freedom of speech. America. Hey, if you don't like it, go back to Tel Aviv. Jihad lover. Jihad lover.
So that was it, huh? I feel like it could have gone a little bit longer, but I guess the crowd was turning against him. Yeah, David said this isn't what I expected. Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be more. It just seemed like there was a lot of Myron getting unhinged and getting all of his words out and not letting anybody else speak, which, you know, we're used to seeing that. And it just seems like those guys, yeah, they disagreed vehemently with Myron, and there was no point to get across or no bridge or anything like that. It was just, you know, they ended up on opposite ends and they never met in the middle. Let me see if there's anything else here. Let's go to my Reddit page, because I think I saved something here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. We got about 30 minutes left, so let's go. Is it a Dates Right app? What? The right getting exposed simping on dating apps. What?
As a journalist, I couldn't find any Republican in New York to talk to me, so I was like, I'll just start dating Republicans. And then I accidentally found all these far-right guys. And I was like, what is it? And he was like, well, what do you think it is? And I was like, it looks like a swastika. He was like, yeah.
This is Vera Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online, and they are a white supremacist.
Hey, you're Vera, the investigative journalist who went undercover on the alt-right.
Yeah.
Can I interview you? I'll buy you a coffee.
Sure.
What's your go-to order?
A Turkish coffee from Lion's Milk.
Done. You went undercover on a far-right dating app.
Yes.
Can you say the name of the dating app?
No.
Why can't you say the name of the dating app?
Because I don't want to platform a dating app that wouldn't take down a profile of someone with a swastika tattoo.
Just for the record, she hasn't said the name
The
of the
Right
dating
Stuff.
app, but I think we know which dating app she's talking
I have not heard of this. Or The Right Stuff.
about.
They were so insecure because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
When did you do this?
This was 2024 when I started covering the election as a journalist around this time, and I couldn't find.
Wait, that coffee? Oh, that's a little bit. Hold on, didn't mean boy. This is the coffee that she got. That little cup. Damn. I wonder if that was expensive or not. Hey, he's got a little Nas patch. Illmatic. That's a great album. Hold on. What is this?
Find any Republican in New York to talk to me, so I was like, I'll just start dating Republicans. And then I like accidentally found all these far right guys doing that. I was like, please can someone talk to me? Like, I want to know why you guys are so excited and want to win, and why the Democrats are all burnt out, don't want to talk about the election, and are acting like fucking losers when it's March and the election is in November. This was like not a planned, premeditated anything. I was really like trying to do personal research, and I just like am method. So I was like, okay, I don't know what Republicans are thinking because they won't talk to any journalist. So I'm just going to talk to them in a dating setting.
That entire time, I'm traveling the country, going to MAGA rallies, trying to get people to talk to me. And you're like, hey, I'm just going to go on a dating app in New York. That could have
been you. You could have done that with a bunch of conservative girls.
I can't tell you which is worse, flying around to a bunch of MAGA rallies and doing that, or dating a bunch of conservative women in New York. I don't know. You know what?
Honestly, I have never spent an entire year in New York not paying for a date. So I will give the MAGA boys that. They paid for all my dates.
Because their attitude was, well, you shouldn't be working and having your own money.
Totally.
You shouldn't even have a bank account. What is this? What is this your own money thing?
Because it's an app for conservatives, and these guys are looking for a wife. So I'm asking them, what are you looking for in a wife? How are you going to be raising your family? Because they don't want someone who's going to be working. And then that is how, before even going on a date, I can learn they don't even think women should be voting.
The Democrats, they cheat. You know, they say they stole the election. If we didn't have the 19th Amendment, the Democrats would have lost every election since FDR. For the record, this was totally not date right.
Correct.
You shouldn't think that this is date right at all. She never said it. I never said it. So like, why? I don't even know who that is. Neither do I. Tell me about a typical date.
I went to church with a white supremacist.
How do you know he was a white supremacist?
His dating profile said anti-white genocide. I don't use these terms loosely. Yeah, it was the white empowerment in the bio.
Anti-white genocide, and he put that in his dating profile.
I asked him.
I mean, that's one hell of a filter. Holy shit, man. You'll get people that know what you're all about, and they're all about it. Sheesh.
Like, what is white genocide? He basically was explaining to me that us as a society, apparently we don't celebrate white couples and white family units, while every other
race just gets a parade.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when black people go on dates, I mean, we've all been to those parades.
Yeah. What this guy was telling me was like, okay, so if we're celebrating a black couple for staying within their race, and if we're celebrating Jewish couples for staying within their race, then why can't we celebrate white couples for staying within their race? I was like, I never thought about that. Like, I've never thought of that. And he was like, yeah, we need to be able to empower white couples, and we need healthy white identity. Then he got into the school system.
I don't understand this. It's like, I see white couples all the time. You know, there's no like pressure to maintain a white couple. It's just like white people date white people all the time. I don't see how it's like a thing that it's like difficult to happen. It's just like it all comes down to compatibility at the end of the day. I don't know.
And he was saying like, all this white guilt is poisoning white kids. And I was like, what white guilt? Like, I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know about this. So I'm explaining to you the way that if this is redundant or like had never heard any of this. So I was just like, okay, what white guilt in the schools? This is when I realized this is what they are talking about when they think the school system is like too woke. So it's basically just like teaching accurate American history, I guess, is like.
American history books should just be the American flag and oil paintings of the founding fathers, pictures of Mount Rushmore, but don't tell them anything about Mount Rushmore at all. There's like multiple people that wouldn't sign the Declaration of Independence until they codified slavery.
What do you think the 13 colonies were? You come to another land, you create 13 colonies. What is that? Colonizing. So we are colonizers. When you grow up in New England, that's the history that you learn, which is I grew up in Massachusetts, and then you go and you visit like the reservations and you learn their history. He said that creating healthy white family units is how we can begin to erase what's like the damage that's being done.
What is a white person? That's like, it's not even a real identity. Irish identity, Irish pride, Italian pride, you know, cheering for your soccer team.
When he said, do you want to go to church instead of getting a drink? I said, yeah. And so then on the date where we went to church, I really thought there was like a part of me where I was like, I can fix him. Like he wasn't even saying anything bad about anyone else. And I was like, maybe he's confused. Then at church, when we went to the church, I asked him, what are you looking for in a girlfriend? What are you looking for in a wife? He said, biblical patriarchy. Church was the first date.
That was the first date.
Yeah, so everything that I described up until church, like that was just talking.
He gave you all of that before you even met him at church. I thought you had been on like 3 or 4 dates.
No.
Vera Papasova spent a year on a conservative dating app, except she wasn't matching with men worried about the economy. She was matching with men ruled by fear and insecurity. Fear they were taught through religion, tradition, and what's sold as unbiased news. Her reporting shows that these platforms aren't just attracting disillusioned or isolated people. They create spaces where toxic ideas aren't challenged, they're reinforced. And that's why I think Ground News is one of the best platforms to expose this.
Okay, here comes the ad. To sum up, I think it's very interesting that they have this dating app for the right, the far right. And, you know, I mean, I think it's great. I think, you know, love is love, man. And I hope everybody finds it, you know, of all types. You know, I mean, good luck on them, you know, perpetuating the stereotype. Let me find the thing I was looking at earlier. Oh, this is the thing I was talking about, Myron, doing college campuses, like Charlie Kirk. Let's check this out.
He can't stay long, but I wanted to have him kind of announce what we got planned for the fall. And go ahead, man, take it away.
Yeah, thank you.
Wait, why is it going so
we
fast?
want to take over college campuses because if you are a student at college campus, you probably know that there's all these different groups on campuses that are so-called free speech organizations that actually don't really believe in free speech. And we're simply that. We're just a free speech organization. We host people from all different viewpoints. People who have been censored, canceled, like Myron, Milo, Gavin McGinnis, Alex Stein, Laura Loomer, everybody in between, even people on the left like Destiny, Hunter Avalone, Brianna Wu, John Doyle, like all these sort of people who you normally don't hear from because a lot of these groups just don't actually host events anymore. They don't actually host debates. They don't actually have conversations with people. And so we're trying to change that by bringing different voices that you don't normally hear. So
are you guys looking at the X numbers here? I don't know if you guys can see it. Hold on, let me move this down a little bit. Hold on. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh wait, actually, whoops. Where is that? Oh, okay. Let's do. Oops. Okay. This one. Down just a tad. Oh, it's a group. I forgot. Whoops. I might have to break my whole stream, but let's do it. Let's go to remove that. Oh, nope. Never mind. Bring that back. Okay, let's just do this. Oh, not remove. I need to ungroup. That's what I need to do. There we go. Okay, display. Just move it down just a tad so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. If you guys look at this, hold on, let me shrink it a little bit. Okay, look at the X number right here. It's at 5. It's going to count all the way down to 0, and it's going to go back to 9. I think they're using bots on X, but I think they're using bots on all these platforms. But I just observed that. Just watch what I'm talking about.
With Myron, we're going to have a lot of big plans in the fall. I can't reveal all of them, but all I can say is if you like what you saw today, and you like
Like,
what you saw at the University of South
I think their bot counter is broken. I don't know how that happened, but it's broken.
Carolina, then you're going to like what we have in store. So if you want to bring that to your campus, just go to uncensoredamerica.us. There's a Star Chapter form right there, so you can bring people like Myron and make some of these cool events happen. Because you can't do it without a club on these campuses. You have to have a club to make these things
There goes the Rumble bots. It's starting to count up now. Look at this.
happen. So it's a tricky battle, and everybody knows that people are getting censored on campuses. You know, a lot of people talk about the Palestine protests, but it's been happening.
Did you see that? Look at the X numbers now. It went from like, hold on, just in a matter of seconds. I can't believe they're botting X numbers. Hold on. Let's look at that one more time. Look at the X numbers.
On campuses, you know, a lot of people talk about the Palestine protest battle, and everybody knows that people are getting censored on
Look at that.
campuses.
Hold on.
People talk about the Palestine there, so you can bring people like Myron.
14, 17.
Because you can't do it without a club on these.
3, 2, 1. It's like a countdown, and then it just works. Hold on.
There's a Star Chapter form right there, so you can bring people like Myron and make some of these cool events happen. Because you can't do it without a club on these.
Okay.
On campuses, you know, a lot of people talk about the Palestine protest, but it's been happening for years, and it's going to keep happening. So if you want to put a stop to this, you actually want to make a difference rather than just, you know, seeing the problem unfold or complaining about the internet. You can actually make a difference and do it at a campus near you.
Yeah. So if you guys, because a lot of you guys say, "Yo, Myron, come to my school, come to my school." Here's the thing: number one, I can't go to your school unless you're a member of that. Unless you go to that school and you're a member of one of the clubs. And then number two, you need to basically vouch for us and get you on your campus. So you got to go to the school, and it's got to be public. Private schools are pretty much cooked, right, Sean?
Yeah, private schools, no shot, because they can. The beauty of public schools is that you have to follow the.
Yeah. I wasn't even, I mean, the whole thing about them doing college campuses, that was one thing, but I just noticed that they were botting their X numbers, and they were starting to bot their Rumble numbers because they were going up a little bit. Where is that other thing I saw? Oh yeah, Myron about to get sniped. That was funny. Hold on.
Tory Lanez has been.
I am a reminder of what is going to happen to every single man in the dystopian future which they are trying to build for us. I'm a reminder of what they did to Trump. Trial by media, endless allegations, some victim who he doesn't even remember the name and face of. And now the UK government is trying to silence me. They're accusing me of crimes which happened 15 years ago. They're not even telling me against who. 15 years ago you did something wrong. To who? We can't tell you. This is a setup. This is a political witch hunt, which is why the members of parliament are openly calling for my decimation. Where is my chance of a fair trial when members of parliament are saying I deserve to go to jail without even seeing the evidence which has been put in front of a judge? This is a setup head to toe. And what
Wait.
they are doing to me.
Who said they're not going to show you the evidence? They have 21 counts though. I think they want to show you the evidence. I don't think they want to just send you to jail without seeing the evidence. I think they have a case already built and they're ready to do it whenever you want to get extradited there. I don't think they want to hold all that work back. I think they want to actually show some of it.
It's the same thing they tried to do to Trump, and it's the same thing they're going to do to every single one of you. Do not forget, they tried to put a bullet in Trump's head, and now they want me gone. What they are doing to me is coming to every single man who wants to protect the sanctity of his child's mind. If you do not want your kids learning propaganda in school, they will destroy you. What they're doing to me is the same thing they will do to every single man who refuses to take a vaccine because Pfizer wants to make money, even if it gives you turbo cancer. What they're doing to me, they will do to you. What they're doing to me is the same thing they will do to every single man who feels a patriotic love for his homeland. The homeland his ancestors built, fought, and died for. What they're doing to me, they're going to do to you too. They may kill me first, but they're going to kill all of us. When I decided to take on this fight against the Matrix, I understood the size and scope of the enemy. I knew exactly what they were going to try and do, and I called them out publicly, repeatedly, in advance, because their playbook is transparent. What they're trying to do to me is to silence me. They want me to disappear from the internet because I am afraid. But the problem that they have is that I do not operate from a realm of fear. My entire life has been a fight. Since the second I was born, I was fighting against poverty before fighting in the ring And now I am fighting the Matrix. I've never known peace. I've never had peace of mind. I've never known anything other than struggle. This is who I am. And when I was fighting the Romanian judicial system, which is questionable at best, I walked into court with my head held high. I did not run. I did not hide. I could have disappeared. I didn't do any of it. I walked in there against a questionable judicial system, fought them, and won. And I will do the same against any judicial system that wants to bring charges against me. I will go to court. I will face the allegations, and I will suffer throughout the process, irregardless of how stitched up, how...
I gotta stop you there, Mr. Tate. Irregardless is not a word. Just say regardless.
How rigged, how set up it is, because I'm not afraid of jail, because everybody knows this is a lie. The British government is saying I hurt someone 15 years ago, but they won't tell me who. Every single man watching this and every single woman watching this who has sons or a husband, imagine they said to you or your husband, 15 years ago you hurt somebody. Who? Won't tell you who. How can you defend yourself? At the same time, the media is saying you're a bad person and belongs in jail. At the same time, members of parliament say you belong in jail. Nobody even knows who this person is, if they exist at all. I've been through this for 4 years so far. 4 years of jail, house arrest, endless media slander. I've never even had a trial. My criminal record is still completely empty. I have never yet had a trial because their intention is not to bring evidence in front of a judge. Their intention is to attach heinous allegations to my name so that people talk about the allegations instead of my ideas. They don't want people to say Andrew Tate says smart things. They don't want big companies to use Andrew Tate to push their products to children. They don't want me to affect political campaigns. They don't want me to help Trump or help Farage or help anyone else. They want to say, you can't use him, even though he's a massive cultural force, because we've accused him of something. This is a setup. And I am telling the world that I am not afraid, that I will go to court, and irregardless of the outcome, because I'm not afraid of the stitch up, irregardless, God knows the truth of my heart. And all of the men who are watching this, who believe it will not happen to you, if you let them kill me, and you let them kill Trump, and you let them kill everyone else who stands up for what they believe in, if you believe these liars, if you believe these opportunistic women who have been promised money to lie, sooner or later, they're going to kill you.
Once the shadow falls, you will never know the light again. The only thing I can say about Andrew Tate is he helped women make money online by chatting to desperate men in chat rooms, taking them for all their money. And then he turned around and double dipped and said that he can help those desperate men that are online trying to chat to women. So whatever issue he has, it's because that was his scheme to get money, you know? Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. Let's see.
You could make
Let me see if there's one more thing.
the
Oh
case
yeah,
that, like,
I forgot about this. Andrew Wilson saying grape can benefit women. This was very interesting.
you could make the case that, like, grape is bad for certain people.
No.
For certain people.
No, it's bad for everyone.
No, it's only bad for certain people. Here,
Andrew.
like, there's women, you agree,
No.
who have orgasmed during SA.
That has nothing to do with
Bro.
I don't know if this is one of his best moments. This is probably one of his worst argument setups I've ever heard.
SA.
Bro.
That has nothing to do with whether it's SA. Are you kidding me?
Bro, I didn't say whether or not it's SA. I said during SA.
Yeah, what does it have to do with anything?
Well, bro, if that's the case, right, then was it bad for them?
Yes.
Why?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because there are overriding...
That clip was taken out of context. It probably was. But it's still a wild statement to make. You can't really deny it. Saying, oh, just because she orgasmed during SA, does that make it bad? I don't know, man. That's a wild statement.
harms than just orgasm. I'm not saying that's not the case. What?
Perfect. So then here's the case then. The case is like when you say for some people, right? The reason you keep saying that is because even though it's the vast overwhelming majority of people, you want to like create this little minutia outlier, right? Is it logically possible that there's ever been a woman who's been SA'd who'd enjoyed it?
I am not going to.
Can you answer my question? Is it logical?
I mean, okay, so there is a thing called grape fantasy, you know, but it's like it's kind of like a controlled thing, you know, like the girl knows that she's not really being raped. She is basically asking, she's requesting for the experience of it, you know, but it's some women are into it, yeah, but it's not like that's a very small it's like the girls that like to be choked and stuff like during that thing, like it's like that, but not saying all women like to be choked or that it's a benefit, whatever. It's just some people are into weird shit, man.
Logically possible, sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but that's not. I'm not ascribing anything to that.
Do you think there's ever been a single woman who's been SA'd and has enjoyed it?
I'm not going to answer the question.
Answer the question.
I'm not going to answer the question.
But because then I can't say some people.
I'm not going to answer
Yeah.
whether women enjoy being great.
That's not what I asked you.
Whether a woman has.
I think it's the role play of grape. It's not actual grape. I think that it's the role play that I think Andrew is talking about. He's not. I mean, which some people are like, well, what's the difference? It's like, well, the woman has probably already set the parameters and probably has had the discussion about it. And yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's not one of those spur of the moment things that where like, if it happens, she's like, no, I'm okay with this. You know, like it has to be, she has to, I think, invite that kind of idea into the bedroom.
Has enjoyed being great.
If there's ever been one, do you think there's ever been one?
I'm not. No, I'm not answering.
You don't think there has been?
I don't know, and I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to. This is such a weird thing. What do you? This is such a weird thing.
What's
to get
wrong with
on
answering
about.
the question?
Because I'm not going to say. I'm not going to contribute to rhetoric that tries to say that there is anything good about SA.
Who said there's anything good about it?
You just said that some women orgasm. Therefore, that is a good of it.
No.
Yeah, okay, I can, yeah. I don't think that's, he never said it was good, he just said some women enjoy it, but I think what Andrew Wilson is talking about is the women that invite the role play aspect of being raped and not actual being raped. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. Let me see, was there anything else? Oh, why am I need to check my page actually before I miss anything. Let me just check my page, because I always save stuff. Let's see what I got.
You could make the case that, like,
How tall are you?
5'9". So there's this clip going viral on.
What's the minimum height that you would date in a guy?
No, I
you
guess
could make
that's
the
it.
case that, like,
hold on, let's go back.
Grape is.
He wasn't advocating for it though. He was doing this to prove that there's a flaw in an opponent's argument. You just have to watch the debate. Yeah, I figured too much. Wait. Let me see this. 7 of Fresh's classmates died in a bike accident. Oh yeah, it's 50 seconds long.
It has the most cost.
Hold on, let me let's go back.
Yeah, writing is the best feeling ever, but it has the most cost. I had a class of 10 people here in Cold Springs for motorcycle license. There were 4 girls, 6 guys. Out of that class, bro, only 3 are still alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
We had a group chat, all dead, bro. Only 3 alive. So listen, bro, and it wasn't their fault. Someone was on their phone. Someone was drunk. Dude, I got in an accident too.
You could be the best rider in the world, bro. You could be the best rider in the world.
Yeah. I was at a red light. Stopped. She hit me. I could have died.
Yeah.
So like, is it worth it? No. You know what? What's a good alternate thing you could do? Get a nice convertible car, not expensive. Maybe like a Aston Martin or maybe like a Mercedes. Soup it up. That's your speed right there. But bike, bro, it's too many variables, bro. Too many.
And of course, after watching this clip, I had to comment on it. Let's find it. I put wrong kid died. The old Bill Burr meme. It's so funny. Wrong kid died. I think that might be it, guys. I don't know if I have anything else. I think that might be it. Yep, we are at the 2-minute mark. 2-minute warning. Yeah, so that was fun. I mean, we got to cover the Sweeney soap, the simp soap, whatever you want to call it. More updates with the Diddy case. It was actually interesting to watch the people, the Israelis, crash out on Myron on the IRL stream. That was funny. And Andrew Tate, you know, just going through the judicial process, having to go through Romania first, and then having to deal with UK next, and possibly the US if the UK fumbles. So I don't know if there's anything else. Let me just let's go back. Go on I watch later. I just want to see if there's anything else here. I don't. Oh, yes. This is gonna be the last thing. Fresh is struggling badly without Myron. I think this is the one. Let me make sure. Is this the one? I hope it is. This is by Khalil Zween. He's like the certified Fresh hater. Like he's better. He's better than I am at doing it. I think this might be it.
Content included in this video are jokes and for satirical entertainment purposes only.
Let me make sure.
They should not be taken literally and do not reflect the actual beliefs
or
personal views of those depicted or involved with this production.
Think about this, right, guys?
So, guys, it's
Not this one. It's this one. This is the one I wanted to show you guys. This is the strangest call with the simp fan. This is gonna be the last video we're gonna watch. This is it. Let's get it all queued up.
So, guys, today we got a diehard Myron fan who, for some reason, called Fresh and Fit live on stream to confess some things that he really did not have to say. This Myron fan basically called in to expose himself for being a cringe bag weirdo around women. Guys, it's one of those things you keep a secret until a year later you look back at it and say, what the hell was I thinking when I did that? But this Myron fan right here is an open book. He wasted no time exposing himself. And I respect his honesty because he really did not have to be honest about that. I can tell he's a very honest guy, but he should have known someone like me was gonna roast his ass. And let me make some things clear. I actually did not want to make this video because I found this dude's Twitter and he looks young. He must be between 19 and 23. Now, if he was 19, I wouldn't have made this video. 19, you get it passed, but I don't know how old this dude is. I DM'd him on Twitter to ask how old he is. I said, hello, Mr. Hogans. What year were you born? I came in with respect. I could have just said, how old you is, I glass, nigga. I was expecting a reply, but he did not reply. Now I actually got beef with this dude because I know he left my ass on red. I swear to God, if he said 20 or 19, I would not have made this video. Now, I don't know how old he is. He could be 21. He could be 23. I don't know. Now I gotta address him as a grown-ass man. And when you look at this guy's Twitter, part of his identity is Fresh and Fit. I really don't want to attack this guy personally because I don't know him, but
He's Jabril. He's definitely part of the Castle Club. I want to say he's probably been on one of the yacht parties or maybe the Fresh Ferry cruise. I'm pretty sure he was part of that, and maybe one of the generals in North Carolina. But yeah, I know this guy. He will send in super chats to Fresh and Fit Jabril, and he'll get like shout out by Fresh and Fit. So yeah, but he decided to call in and he embarrassed himself for our viewing pleasure.
But it makes sense why he did what he did. I'm a fan of Myron too, but I don't gotta put a banner of Fresh and Fit on my Twitter and let everyone know that I'm a fan of Fresh and Fit. You can tell he's a cringe bag just by looking at his Twitter. If I saw his Twitter before hearing what he did on a date, I wouldn't be surprised at all. His bio is big fan of Fresh and Fit. You know he talks about how much he loves Fresh and Fit to girls. He probably talks about how much he loves Walter the Goomba too.
Who's up? Who's
Castle Club is still a thing, he said. Bro, I mean, there are people that are still paying. I don't even know how much it is now. I thought it was at one point $35 a month, and I think it's gone up to like 90 something dollars now. It's crazy. But yeah, people are still paying that shit. It's wild.
Who's this?
What up, y'all? This is
And I don't even think they get exclusive content. I really I think all of the videos that you can readily find on Rumble and YouTube and stuff is just open to the public. None of this like after hours is for Castle Club only. They don't do that shit anymore, dude. They give it all for free.
Real.
What up, man? How you doing, bro?
Myron, I got some bad news for you, Myron.
Yeah, what's up?
I kind of up in the dating game.
What'd you do? You simped?
So, I kind of simped. So,
Jabril? Jabril? Big Mo is here.
So I'm talking to this girl, right? She's 18. She just graduated from college yesterday.
18 graduated.
And like, I didn't know what I did wrong. And she was like, she stopped talking to me for like 2 days, and I kind of begged her back to get back with me and stuff like that. So I kind of fucked up on that part.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, this dude deserves to get clowned. How are you the biggest Fresh and Fit fan and still thought it was a good idea to beg a woman to talk to you? Imagine begging anyone to talk to you, let alone a woman. Even Walter the Goomba wouldn't beg anyone to talk to him. I mean, I don't know, but he probably would, I'm not gonna lie. But this dude has zero social and self-awareness, and why is he even asking Myron? Like, what is he expecting Myron to tell him? Like, don't beg a woman? You already know what to do. You did not have to call in to say that. If this dude has some self-awareness, he would not have called in to say that. Like, what kind of advice are you looking for? Like, you might as well just ask Fresh.
Well, that's what you get for being thirsty, nigga. Sometimes you got to take some L's and learn, not to touch the stove when it's hot. And you're being thirsty, and she said, "This nigga thirsty," and I sure want to talk to you no more.
Yeah.
I like it how Myron is still using that touching a stove while it's hot, because he stole that from Fresh, and Fresh stole that from Abba. So it's kind of wild how Myron is basically aping off of what Abba said, but he doesn't realize it. I think if he realized where that came from, if he realized that Fresh copied that from Abba, then he would probably stop saying that whole touching the stove thing.
Myron is a nice guy. He could have just said, why the fuck would you beg a woman? You weird ass simp. Fuck off my line. And just hang up on him. But instead he want to tell him you gotta touch a stove to learn it's hot. Do you really gotta beg a woman to understand that you shouldn't be begging women? Like, you should never beg a woman in the first place. Like, bro, especially somebody who watches Fresh and Fit a lot. You know about female nature. You know about everything. And you still did it. Like, these kind of guys don't learn.
Bruh. I was going to say something, but I'm going to hold it for like another day. Something about them J's. I'm just going to hold it. Myron, question for you. What's like, I think I know what the answer is, but what's like the best way to go forward? I know what the answer is, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, obviously, the generic advice they're gonna say, just get under another girl. To get over one girl, you just got to get under another. Look, that's stupid. Look, that we know that's the advice, but what I would say, bro, is you need to always be. This is why it's so important to spin plates, because I guarantee you the problem here is that you were talking to this girl and you were putting a lot of effort in, and whenever you put a lot of effort in, girls can smell that, and you probably weren't spinning other plates. So you got to be talking to 5 to 10 girls at any given time, bro. And it's because it naturally keeps you sharper, and it keeps you from being thirsty. And you're being too thirsty, a girl can feel it. Girls can smell when you're not getting bitches, bro. Trust me. They can smell it.
Mm-hmm. On God.
So that's what fucked up, bro, is that you were only talking to her and she knew it. And then when girls know that, they instantly lose attraction, bro.
They get turned off.
The chat told me to stop lying. I told Myron I was begging to get back with her.
Yeah, and that's what fucked you up. I mean, you already lost. But basically, you already lost when she stopped responding. Then when you begged her, she said, yep, I definitely made the right decision.
Yeah.
All you did actually was confirm that she made the right decision by begging.
The thing was, the reason why she stopped talking to me, she told me why. The thing was, like...
Nigga, don't believe why she told you.
Don't
believe, that's the...
Look at this weird-ass Goomba fake laughing at 32 years old. This guy's so childish, bro. Grow the fuck up and shut the fuck up.
That's mistake number one. Don't listen to why what she told you, bro. What she told you is irrelevant.
Right here, Myron said, don't believe what she told you. He gave this guy a chance to reconsider what he was going to say and not say it, but he still said what he did.
Well, she she told me like that my views are too extreme, and I was trying to like I was trying to JQ her. I was trying to JQ her too early and stuff like that.
You JQ'd her?
Yeah, I was trying to, but it didn't work out. And most of the people she hang out with are the J's.
Stupid. Guys, this is my second time watching this clip, and I'm just now realizing that this guy might actually be on the spectrum, and I swear to God, I'm not joking. This is something that a sane person wouldn't do, because he's not talking about it to make fun of himself. He's not laughing at himself right now. He's talking about it like it's her fault. He said, I tried to JQ her, and it didn't work out because most of her friends are J's. What are you talking about, bro? I feel like he was expecting Myron to tell him she's a dumb whore. She wouldn't get that. She's too low IQ. She wouldn't understand the J's. I feel like that was the answer he was asking for.
Bro, are you slow?
Yes.
Yeah, are you slow, bro?
My rock today on your ass.
That's like the worst insult you could ever get from Fresh, man. Like, are you slow? Dude, he's like the last fucking person to fucking say that shit. That's fucking nuts.
Jabril, are you slow, bro? No, like that ass, bro. That ass.
Walter, you're the last person to talk about being slow. You literally asked who decided 2 + 2 = 4.
Okay, so creation itself, who decided 2 + 2 = 4? Man did, right? I'm just saying on a
this classic clip, man. Jesus.
This is 2 + 2. Who decided that?
Who decided 2 + 2 = 4? Is that a serious question? With all due respect,
I'm asking you.
Like most of the people she hang out with is one of the boys. I was trying to JQ her.
Bro,
who the fuck cares, nigga?
Bro.
Yeah, this guy is definitely on the spectrum. Instead of saying, yeah, Walter, that was the dumbest thing I said to a girl, which I doubt. I know he did way worse. I know this guy is a weirdo, bro. I'm not accusing him of anything. But if you think it's normal to JQ girls that you just met, bro, you are definitely a fucking weirdo. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you're not even acknowledging the fact that you said some weird shit. You're talking about her friends are the boys. Like, what are you saying, my boy? Like,
that's when you've been watching too much Fresh and Fit, man. You can't unplug and you just start spewing it to like girls that you like and stuff, and then you just ostracize yourself even more.
Just hang up. You're just embarrassing yourself right now. What are you doing? You even got Walter the Goomba, the dumbest person alive, to call you stupid and slow, and he's right. You are very slow. Like, you shouldn't be dating girls. I feel bad for that woman, man. Just imagine how uncomfortable she was around this geek. Do you know who controls the world? Your friends that you hang around. Yeah, your friends are one of the boys. Like, this guy is out here making Fresh and Fit fans look bad.
Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
Because I was somebody with my views and stuff like that, so I was trying. And I told her that I don't like women to work and stuff like that, and she's like a conservative, but she like to work and stuff like that. So.
The dude's like, what, 20 something? Like 21, 22? What the hell is he saying? He doesn't want a girl to work. What the fuck? Do you think he can actually like provide for her now? That's crazy. Cook Manny came back. He's like, I hereby make the decision that 2 + 2 is 4. Oh man. The fact is, man, you know, math is a language, bro. It's like, it's just, it is what it is, man. But for Fresh, that was tough, man. He's just like, I think it's all man-made. It's just like, we all lost brain cells listening to Fresh say that. It's something that we can never get back.
So she's like, I can't get along with that either.
Oh my God, this guy is a geek. Bro, this guy is a fucking cringe bag, bro. I swear, what is he saying? Why is he having that conversation with a girl he just met? This is a broke dude telling a woman he just met, you shouldn't be working if you're gonna date me. Who do you think you are?
He thinks he's Mr. Potential, that he's gonna have it down the line. So you just need to go ahead and give up your dreams and your career and just get on my program that I'm still figuring it out. Like, stupid. It's like when you you watch Fresh and Fit and you think you can go out and just make it happen. It's just like, nah, dude, that's not how it works, man. You got to put in the work, bro.
This cringe bag watched too much Fresh and Fit. Now he's thinking he's Myron.
Are you able to provide? Are you
gonna pay our bills, bro?
You paying our bills?
Well, at this moment, I'm not.
No, you're not. Nigga, You are trying to put the horse before the cart. Listen, bro. Sorry.
Gabos came back. He says, "Hey Cam, did you ever watch Fresh and Fit debate H3H3? If so, what are your thoughts on it?" Man, I did watch that, dude. I think that Ethan, he basically came loaded in that debate to try to get a clippable moment, and Myron wasn't giving it to him. Fresh wasn't that smart. He was kind of like, not really bobbing and weaving the questions like Myron was. But I will say that as far as, Ethan's questions that he had lined up, Myron was like not trying to like give him the satisfaction of answering it directly. But yeah, Ethan brought forward a lot of arguments in terms of Fresh when he was going through that whole Daisy saga. Basically saying that, you guys teach men to, be over your women and stuff like that. But look at your girl, your girl is basically in the gym with her ass out and stuff like that. And Walter had nothing to say about it. He's like, she can do that if she wants. And then when it came to Myron, it was all about like the JQ and, how many Jews died in the Holocaust. And then they were talking about Europa and stuff. I thought that it's very entertaining. I don't think the questions I think the way the questions were structured, the way Ethan asked them, it was easy for Myron to dodge them and not give a straight answer. But then he even called him out. He said, "Hey, you guys are really good at not answering questions." And at one point, he tried to turn Fresh against Myron to be like, "Hey, he's the one answering questions, like, why don't you be like that?" But then I think Fresh ended up getting on the same program as Myron and started, dodging questions again. So it was very entertaining, but it didn't really go anywhere. And eventually it just ended, and they didn't really get what they wanted out of it. But it was still entertaining. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Listen, bro.
Fresh, you just call
Fresh just said cart before the horse. He said that backwards.
them slow, you're already lagging. Think about this. You're just trying to put the horse before the cart.
Horse before the cart, yeah.
Cart before the horse. And you guys heard what the nerd said before he got interrupted by the Goomba, just for him to start lagging and stuttering. He said at the moment, which means he was actually planning on dating this girl. You see what happens when a dude with zero options finally get a girl to talk to him? He was so excited. He was like, "Yeah, you gotta stop working, man. I'm gonna be the provider. I don't like the Jays. You gotta stop liking the Jays too." This guy is a fucking nerd, bro.
Yeah, he was basically banking on being Mr. Potential, and it didn't work out too well for him. And that's what happens when you try to be like somebody else and not have your own identity. It just blew up in his face.
Information, man. Nigga out here talking about Europa with chicks, bro, and the dancing. No, bro, you can't do that shit, man. Another thing too, dude, you got to remember, like, you can only be extreme when you're extremely successful. I'm gonna say that again. You can only be extreme when you're extremely successful. All right? If you're an average nigga, you can't be doing this shit, bro. Keeping it 1,000 with you.
Okay. I get it now. Yeah, I messed up on that part. Yeah, I definitely messed up.
Messed up on a lot of parts. I hope he actually gets it, because I feel like he doesn't. I feel like he's going to call again and say, "Myron, I messed up again. She brought up her Jewish friend, so I had to JQ her and tell her about them boys." Like the video and subscribe if you enjoy.
Oh man, shout out to Zawil Queen, man. This guy is hilarious. I love how he hates Fresh, and I love how this guy, he puts together videos that are very entertaining. But yeah, dude, that's all I got for this week. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you guys haven't liked the video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys take care. And yeah, take care, guys.